Hey, I just got back from lunch. Did you finish that report yet?
Well, not exactly. Still working on it. I'm not finished just yet. I got a little sidetracked, but I will get them to you first thing this afternoon.
It is first thing this afternoon.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I am working on
But
it. I'll have.
what do you mean that the report isn't finished yet?
I'm still in the process of working on it. I've just been a little distracted.
Distracted. Our meeting starts in an hour.
I can have it.
No. What were you doing? Were you listening to another hunting podcast again? I swear, I give the staff in this office the freedom to do whatever they want to do as long as they meet a deadline. That is the first bullet underneath your job description. Pays attention to detail and deadlines. And deadlines. Dude, are you even listening to me right now?
Welcome to episode 191 of the Whitetail Distraction Podcast. My name's Austin, and joining me in the podport, chasing flies with his hands right now like a karate master, Charles Hedlund. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I got it. See? Body.
Mr. Miyagi over here.
Evidence. Well, I didn't have chopsticks.
Not chopsticks,
so.
but let's, I mean...
I could have put these pens together
You could have.
and chased them.
That'd have been interesting.
Yeah. Hey, look at that.
I know.
Sorry, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we will get into
I'm doing
that.
good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Just took advantage of that scree deal right there.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Christmas time, man.
It is.
Did you get us those shirts?
Merry Christmas. What shirt? Did you give me
I thought I was supposed to buy you a shirt.
Yeah, did you give me my shirt back yet?
I'm not giving you your shirt back.
Yes,
I'm
you
going
are.
to buy you a shirt.
No, we bought you a shirt, so you can give me my shirt back.
Not your shirt.
John stole my 150 Kaibab quarter zip.
Shot my buck in it too.
First day of the season.
I love that
No,
shirt.
it was not first day of the season.
Yes, it was.
Second week.
No, it wasn't. It was
The
first
second
day.
week.
We were up
Second
camp
week.
when I gave it to you. It was the first evening of the year. I haven't seen it.
Oh, no.
It was not the first.
Yes, it was. I'll bet my life on it.
But I have definitely.
And that
How
was the
nice is
newer
that
one.
freaking 150?
It's very nice.
I know.
I like the little top pocket.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
I
Little
have
top
two.
pocket.
Okay, so I have my Summit one that I
Keeps
usually wear
heartburn
early
medication in
on,
there.
but like I've torn it up from climbing trees and stuff.
Yep.
So last year I got that new Solace one.
Yeah.
Which is the one he has, which is my newer, nicer one. So I went and bought myself another one.
I tore it up climbing
Yeah.
trees. So I was going to buy you a new one.
I bought myself a
Dead
new
serious.
one already.
I said,
But in Summit.
buy one for you, buy one for me. I'll pay for both because I definitely both.
Well, when you
With an
unwrap
F.
it, you can make that decision whether you're going to give it to me or not. Because it's definitely going to you. And it's a solace. So anyways.
The more of the stuff I use of Charles's, the more I want to buy it.
Oh, yeah. That's what you got to do.
a lot.
It's good. It's like a little probation period. You know,
I'm almost
Give him
wondering.
your ptarmigan vest.
I'm almost no, not happening. That is a no.
He knows what happens when you get.
I
these
almost
things. I
wonder
usually
what
don't give
happened to
them
my
back very
guardian
promptly.
hat. My guardian hat has been missing. I literally don't know where it is. I was just thinking about it the other day
Ain't me.
because a buddy of mine who's just getting into hunting the other day came over and he messaged me like, "Hey, you got any extra gear laying around?" I said, "Well, you know what? You're actually in luck. I have like 4 garbage bags full of stuff that I haven't even touched in 5 years.
There you go.
I put them all out. I said, take it all. You can have whatever you fucking want. I don't want any of it."
Choke me up, jeez.
Dude, it's all like old scent lock stuff, whatever. I don't care. I said, I haven't touched it in 5 years. If you want it, take it. So he did. I did keep the scent lock jacket that I killed my buck in a couple of years ago.
You're killing
A few
me.
years ago. But other than that, I gave everything away. So
Heard I got some socks coming to me too.
Oh.
I did not agree to that, by the way.
He said they were either going to me or Joe, and I said, "Well, I'm sitting."
Yeah,
right
but the
next
more
to
I
you,
wear
Charles.
them, I kind of like them, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to give them away.
They're used.
No, they're still brand
That's
new.
a second pair. It's a
I do
second
have,
pair.
I bought 2 pairs.
Okay.
The second
I was
one,
like, I got an extra pair. I'm
the
either giving it to
second-
either you or Joe. And I was like, well, I'm right here.
yeah, but it's
Charles.
Joe's birthday.
We're
coming up.
hunting.
And yeah, they're still
a valid
sitting there.
point
I
as well.
haven't worn them yet, but I've wanted to, and I do really like them. But I have so many socks. There it is.
Could
Yes,
use
sir.
a pair of socks.
I like every one of those, to be honest with you.
What's your
Maybe
favorite?
minus
What's
the-
your favorite?
Out of all those,
Ready,
the
go.
ptarmigan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for all around use, I'd say the ptarmigan. For overall badass best jacket out there,
The vest
Guardian.
or the jacket?
the jacket.
Dude, the Guardian
Jacket.
is freaking...
the Guardian's
I love
the-
that
The
jacket.
fucking tits.
I wore it first day of gun season.
Mm-hmm.
It was an absolute must this year.
I
It
wore
was
it
so
most
cold.
days of gun season, dude.
Yeah.
It was freaking cold.
Cold.
Those
Yeah.
jackets are.
We've had one of the colder gun
best.
seasons. I mean, it's been pretty much
We've had the
snow
colder
on the
season.
ground
consistently
for
cold.
almost the entire season
Yeah.
I mean, other than the last week
in Pennsylvania.
or
That's very rare.
Our whole
Yeah.
archery season, realistically, did you sweat that much during any of it?
Oh no! Last year was 10 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
It was 75, 80 degrees first
Yeah.
day. It was like I don't like that stuff because when you kill a deer, now you got to process it
Right
almost immediately.
Right away.
Like, you know what I mean, to throw it in the fridge. I like to kill my deer and
I like to
have
let them
little,
hang.
Well, let
It's
them
nice
hang.
to let them hang.
I like to let them hang as long as
Even the
possible.
rifle deer I
If
shot.
the weather permits, I like to let them hang as long as possible. But I also like to, you want to kill a deer, you want to celebrate. You have a couple
Absolutely.
deers hang out. Sure as hell, I want to cut that deer up
Yeah,
that night.
The more I almost think
you
about
got to
it,
do this. I mean, in our region, it's kind of what you got to do, though.
That's true.
you're almost better off quartering them out in the woods, and then you already got them quartered up. When you bring them back, you can just throw them right in the
Yeah.
fridge.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
It's just we don't usually do that.
No, but I might have
That's
to
just
start.
Well, that's like the
In that
tradition we've
scenario.
always done is just
You got to get them on the meat pole.
drag them out, hang them, put them on the meat pole, let
You
everybody
can hang
know what's
quarters
up.
on the meat pole.
You could. It would be actually that'd be a pretty cool
It would be-
picture.
It would actually be a lot sicker if we were
Uh,
just
It would be
hanging-
the actual
if
meat
we were
pole.
just hanging legs
Hell
and
yeah.
limbs off the meat pole.
Make it your Christmas card.
That'd be pretty
or your,
sick. That'd
or your Halloween card.
Imagine if you kill like six deer and
You
there's
get
just
some looks.
legs. There's just rear
Parts
quarters
everywhere.
and front quarters hanging everywhere.
Yeah, you get some looks doing something like that.
Back straps.
What's that? The old combat veteran VIP
Yeah, VIP archery, the combat veteran. It's just my favorite. I always go back to it.
to go to. I got some locked and loaded. Might carry the bow in West Virginia this year, depending on if I
Really?
can get out or not. We'll see. Yeah,
There you go.
it's usually their muzzleloader season, but I think I'll just tote the bow.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, I could always borrow an inline, but I'd rather just tote the bow.
There you go.
Although the inline gives you a
I
much
was
better
thinking about getting
chance.
an Ohio license where I was going to tree seed.
Yeah.
It's just so late now to get an archery or get an
I know.
Ohio tag, especially
Because
after their
the
gun
expensive.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about it after I shot my buck, and I was like, "What am I gonna do? Should I buy an Ohio?" And then once it got past like the main rut,
Yeah.
like
Because it used to be a lot cheaper. No, it's
Yeah.
like $275
Yeah.
now, isn't it?
that's like just the license.
That's
in your,
I'm
in your
talking
one
about
tag.
just I'm
Yeah.
talking that's
You're
the
like
only thing I would do.
roughly.
You would get your
270,
either sex tag and
Yep.
the license. I'm pretty sure it's like
Yeah, I
275,
think
279.
right
maybe.
around that area, like 280.
Pretty sure.
Which if you really break
It's
it down,
it's not outrageous.
It's not Illinois. It's not Iowa. It's not Kansas pricing. Shit, it's not even Georgia pricing. Georgia's like $330.
and we can drive there in one day.
But here's
Like
the deal.
you can drive there,
could.
hunt, and drive home technically.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
a lot
I mean-
of places in Ohio too.
I've done that many
Yeah.
times.
2.5 hours for us.
Not even, dude. It's an hour and fucking 50 minutes.
I bet you
Hour
I
and
can
50 hour and 50 minutes probably to get
Yeah?
down there. But I mean, I don't know.
Well,
boys-
I'm talking about with the camper. Usually, it's
Yeah.
about 2.5.
well, that's the other way.
Yeah.
If you go
because we
into
drive down with the
Ohio
camper.
and then down to keep it flatter, but if you go
But
like
if we were just going for the
if
day,
you go the new toll roads,
that's the whole thing. Like,
it's
I mean,
like
you
nothing,
could.
dude.
and
We've done it. Me and
we
Joe's
had-
done it.
Yeah, I've seen some good bucks down there.
Yeah, we
Was
went
that
down there
not
for
this year? Last year.
Yeah, this
We
year
went
sucked.
down.
The
We had
boys,
some-
the boys struggled down there this year.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It was bad, dude. They didn't even see a buck.
And Sam drew those tags too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
He drew that
Yeah.
inside that park tag.
yeah. Don't ever do that again. I was like, dude, why didn't you just hunt your normal spots? I sent him some pins of places like I really wanted to get back to that I found last
I saw
year.
some really good deer. They were just too far out. And Russ killed that decent buck there.
Mhm. I
Sam
killed
got,
that nice
Sam
one that
caught that
same
big
year.
wide 6-point, big thick wide 6-point.
I still haven't
we had
gotten
a good
that
year that year.
back. Still out, Jens. If you're listening, I want my buck,
Uh-oh.
and I want it now.
And I want it now.
I
It's
have
my
to-
buck, and I want it.
I forgot to bring in my antlers the other day. I texted them and then I totally forgot.
Tell him I
wanna-
said hello.
I went out that way twice and both times forgot. Yeah, well.
Either.
So, anyways, yeah, combat veteran, use it, shoot deer, blow through everything,
Freddy Krueger blood.
mass destruction. What do you got there? The hideaway blend,
Yeah, I figured
Back
I'd switch it up
40
a little bit. It's so gnarly, man. It's like a freaking jungle.
dude. That picture kind of says it all.
It does. You
That-
go to their website, that B40 hideaway blend, man.
That guy has that shit towering 2 times over him.
It's gnarly, Charlie.
Like it's high. It's basically your concealment blend, right?
Yeah.
If you want to create like like that, show it a walkway into your plot or something, or if you want to just
Make like a corridor going through.
make a corridor, make a fence basically near the road so people aren't looking on your property. They aren't shining your property with a light. They aren't shooting your deer from the car, from the roads.
That's the way to go.
Plant this shit. It's literally like fucking 10 feet high. And it's the nice part too is it's a lot of good forage for deer.
Absolutely.
and
You
stuff
could brush
as
a
well.
blind into it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Shit, you could do anything.
Yeah.
If you want to move deer through your property a
Good
certain
way
way,
to do it.
you can make that into like a wall basically.
It had a wall.
Mhm.
You know what else you can do? Use code distraction10 for 10% off your purchase.
I don't think that code's going anywhere. Those dudes are pretty badass.
They're
too,
pretty
so
awesome.
If it doesn't work, you let us know and we'll get a hold of them. But they're really good guys.
If you tell them that we sent you, I'm sure they'll help you out.
Yeah. If not,
Other than that was the bee's knees.
that's the bit. You got to do it. You know, you got to pay the bills.
You gotta pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
And then bam, we're back in it. We got
How'd
a
you-
guest on the episode in person, like it always should be.
You didn't need the laptop open for anything else?
No, I don't need anything.
Oh.
It'll be all right. If
All
I
this
need it, I'll
time, I
open it
thought
up.
he was running something through his laptop.
Nope.
Wing it.
We used to, right?
We used to always run through the laptop. Yeah, not
That's
anymore.
what I thought.
Not anymore.
You want to welcome him in promptly with our.
I cannot because I had to format our card. I didn't get to put it back on. I reformatted tonight just to make sure that it was fine.
You don't have any of the
I
buttons?
have nothing.
Not one button.
I don't have any buttons. Believe me, it's bugging me.
Wow. Well, never mind. I guess that was all for nothing. Why are you wearing that ugly Browns jacket in here, anyways?
I like that jacket.
Well, I like being miserable, and I'm a Browns fan.
That's okay.
It is a very nice camo pattern, by the way.
Realtree AP.
You can't say you hate the AP, because the AP is...
Used to be a Realtree family here.
We used to be.
We preached it for years.
I love the AP.
Not no mo.
It matches stuff that I hunt.
Okay. You still have my Realtree hoodie from 6, 7, 8 years ago? How many years was that now, actually?
No.
7 years ago.
I don't have your hoodie.
Last time I saw that hoodie.
What hoodie?
John borrowed it. Haven't
What
seen
hoodie?
it since.
I don't. I only have one hoodie. and
We
it's
just had that
definitely not yours.
conversation. I had a Scentlock hoodie. I let you borrow and I haven't seen it since.
No chance.
Yeah, it's gone forever. Aaron
I have a
Hernandez.
Scentlock hoodie. I got it from Mom.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish I had a Scentlock
I'll
cookie.
bet you that Scentlock hoodie is mine.
Cookie.
I bet you that Scentlock hoodie is mine. I'll put any money on it. That's one. That was
Really?
probably my favorite piece I've ever owned.
It's my favorite piece, too.
Shot the buck that you and I recovered.
This
My
is
biggest
nice.
buck ever in that hoodie.
It was a cool fucking
Probably
buck,
last
too.
time I ever
What's the
seen
camo pattern?
I don't know. It's Realtree. I don't
No, it's
know.
not. Mine's
Mine
mossy
is.
oak.
Ew. That's
Ew.
disgusting. That ain't
I
mine.
know. That's the only part I hate about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to back this
Hold
up
up.
for 1 second.
Okay. Mine's mossy oak, so I know for a fact it's not yours. I hate
John Paul Hedlund, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
Chuck's older brother.
Yeah.
One of them.
One of them.
One of.
One of few.
What's up, buddy? You have a good season?
I had an interesting season.
Okay.
I mean, it's good. on the
Good
fact
enough?
that- Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it was pretty good. He
I
shot,
would
yeah,
too.
it was.
shot
it
his
was.
biggest buck ever.
Yes, that's what saved this season.
I'm gonna need another pour.
Other than that, it didn't kill as many deer as I've been killing in archery season, but
How many
once again,
deer did you kill
killed
this year? 3?
4.
4? 4 is a good number.
A low number from
4 in archery or 4 with
4 total.
Yeah, 2 with the gun, right?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, 4
There you
total, which is very low. I haven't killed less than 6 deer in 10 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
you
what
really
happens
can't
when you're
count on
unemployed?
muzzleloader season.
Get that dig? You hear that one?
I did hear that.
What's that?
I said that's what happens when you're unemployed.
First of all, when you're
Sorry,
unemployed, you
retired.
should kill a lot more deer.
Temporarily.
Yeah, it was odd because I saw so many deer this year. I mean, I bet you there was only, I mean, I can count, there was only 2 sits all year in archery. I didn't see multiple deer.
I can say the same
And
thing,
I basically only killed that buck, which saved the entire season because it was a good buck,
Real good buck.
real strong. It was a dominant deer. But other than that, like I'm used to killing a lot of doe
Yeah.
because I get a lot of doe tags. So we eat a lot of deer meat. But I'll trade 6 doe for a big buck, only
I'm with
3
ya.
doe.
I'm with
Because it wasn't a bad season. It was just interesting.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
get into
You know,
it.
it was really cool because you see deer. Like that's what you go into the woods to see.
Oh, absolutely,
You
dude.
go into the woods to see deer. Like, I mean, you see a coyote, fox, or something go by. You're like, huh, made my hunt.
Yeah.
I haven't killed a deer yet. That made my hunt.
Dude,
'Cause
last year I
I'm in
saw
the
mink. I didn't
wilderness.
stop talking about it for a week.
You saw what?
Exactly.
A mink.
Oh yeah, mink.
Yeah.
From the stand. It was right under my stand.
But
I was
that
like, "Dude, there's a mink.
stuff's
Mm.
really cool.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us hunters.
Absolutely.
Especially archery hunters. You know what I mean?
You know
Like,
what I still
wanna
haven't
see-
seen in the wild, bobcat.
Really?
Oh, I have.
I've only seen glimpses of them.
Yeah, I've seen them. Plain as day.
I have them on camera.
I know
all
where there's
over
a
my
bobcat
camera.
den. You know where that bobcat den is too.
2 weeks ago up camp, we were just riding, just like streaming and stuff like that after. The biggest bobcat I've, and it wasn't
He's still on this kick. I don't know. I think it was a Tellus coyote is what I'm hearing. Other reports reports aren't totally, jiving
Russ
with
thought
his
it was
story.
a coyote. It jumped down off the log. Had I could tell by the
Was it
has
chupacabra?
the tail. No,
Oh.
that's what my wife said. She said chupacabra. I'm like, no. It had the little bob tail and the thing, but its shoulders were enormous. It was twice the size of any bobcat I've ever seen, and I've only seen like 6 of them. But
He lifts laps.
Sounds
dude.
like a bobtailed
oh
chupacabra.
no, he was
Oh.
shoulders for days.
That's why. That's why.
I've never seen
Yeah.
a bobcat that big in my life.
Yeah.
I'm used to them being these little like 20-pound animals. This thing looked like it was 40 pounds and it was enormous.
Have I brought this up to you yet? And I don't think I have. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this gentleman called in from Pennsylvania and continued to claim that in Pennsylvania we
Mountain
have
lions.
Mountain lion.
coy
Don't say
wolves.
mountain lion.
Oh yeah, I've heard
What?
about it. It's not true.
Coyotes bred
It's
with
not,
wolves.
it's not true. No, it's not true.
I
You
know,
know how many
it's not
people I've
true.
heard say that they shot a coy wolf?
Dude,
It's not.
he
I
kept
don't
going
think-
on
I
and
don't
on and on about these coy
I don't
wolves.
think it makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, we have big coyotes.
We do.
But they
We
ain't
have
wolf,
big coyotes,
they
but they're
ain't
not that
wolf
big.
coyotes.
You
That
hear
was the whole
guys
thing
talk about
back in the
shooting
day was
60-pound coyotes.
Timberwolves.
It's not. We're not shooting 60-pound coyotes.
That was the whole thing with Timberwolves.
40, 50
Timberwolves
pounds.
are
That's a
mating
huge
with
coyote.
eastern coyotes, and I'm like, I think that's happening. I really don't.
I don't know. It's the first I've ever heard of it in ever even brought up. in
Have you
our
ever
state.
seen a wolf?
I've
Have you
only
ever
seen them in
actually
the
seen a
zoo.
wolf?
In the zoo.
They're huge, dude.
Never
Never seen
enormous,
one.
but
Never
on the
seen
wild.
one in the outdoors. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
I've seen them in
They're
the zoo.
huge.
they're 80, 90, 100 pounds. Like these
They're big.
these Timberwolves are saying are breeding with these are enormous.
We don't have coy
Come
wolves.
on, man.
I've seen a werewolf once.
But
I
we
saw
do
a mountain
have
lion once. Actually, I swear I
Okay.
did.
but
actually
we
see a
do
mountain
have
lion.
a
Not in
lot bigger
Pennsylvania.
coyotes.
Ohio.
We have a lot bigger coyotes than the western coyote.
That's true.
The western coyote is like 25,
Oh,
maybe
yeah, I
30
mean,
pounds.
but-
Ours are like 45.
Yeah.
Sometimes
You can
know,
say the
that's a
same
huge
thing
coyote.
about.
that's a really big coyote, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of coyotes.
There's a big contest from West Virginia to Pennsylvania, and they get mid 40s,
Mm-hmm.
mid to high 40s are the
I think
winners.
you typically will find one guy that might touch that 50 mark.
there's
if you're
I don't
very
think
lucky, but-
I've never heard of a 50.
Joe just
I
shot
think-
3. What did they weigh?
Not
9.5 pounds.
Nah,
They
they
were
weren't.
small.
They weren't pups, but
they were small.
They were like a first year brother group,
Yeah, they were
Okay.
they
first
were-
or second year
they were-
brother group. But
together they probably weighed
we've had
50
multiple
pounds.
of them down there. Actually, after he shot those 3,
There's so
a
many
week
coyotes on
later there was another pack of 3 on my
there.
camera.
There's,
No shit.
You know why?
Mhm.
Because the other pack of 3 didn't run it anymore.
Right, exactly.
why.
Now they're moved in.
Then they moved
And
right
we're gonna-
into their
we're
territory.
going to go
That's
kill them too.
the most unique
Good.
thing of all time is the coyote being able to regulate how many pups they
Mhm.
have versus what the food supply is.
Yeah, there's
and
only a few
what the actual
animals.
living
The
area
population
is.
of them.
Yeah,
They can regulate between
Oh,
like
yeah.
1 to 9, like one. I think it's 7 or 9 pups in a. That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
If you shoot a bunch of coyotes,
so you can't get rid of them because
No,
if
not
you
unless
kill,
you kill 'em
more,
all.
if you kill
you got to
more,
kill them all.
or if
Yeah.
you drop a nuke, yeah,
Quickly.
If
Yeah.
you kill more, they'll just have more babies.
exactly. That's how it works.
That's so wild.
Those
that
females
you
can
that
come
you
into
can
heat like
actually
on
do
demand.
that.
That's why you
as
go
a
in the spring and
species.
blast their pups with shotguns like I did.
You know what the best
That's
time
even
to kill
better.
them?
Hey,
awesome.
I'll kill them all.
Like 4th of
Kill them all.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
care.
probably around that same time when I
4th of
shot.
July.
There's a
bunch of
reason there's
pups.
no season for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a reason
listen, I was
because you
just,
can't kill them all. It's not
Yeah.
possible.
I was watching.
They'll start having 9 pups instead of 2.
Yeah,
You
I-
kill them all, they'll start having 9 pups.
yeah. This guy was in Illinois, and they were shooting coyotes, dude, point blank with shotguns at like 5 feet.
Oh yeah.
They
Good.
killed like 6 in a day. It was
Good.
insane.
It's the best way to go hunting with them.
My God,
Good.
Carry a rifle and a shotgun.
Imagine seeing a coyote
It's a great
stay
video.
away from you, though.
Dude, they were hunting the edge of cornfields and just waiting for them to pop. And you'd see the coyote coming out of the corn, and they figured out the last thing. Like, oh fuck!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, kablammy!
Mistake.
You can look it up.
Mistake.
Shit. What is there? Heirs of the Outdoors.
Oh yeah.
Heirs of the Outdoors. They're PA local guys.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
I had him over to house.
Kill them all.
We
You
did
can't kill them all, but we tried to.
I don't know if I got that one.
You just Miyagi and everything.
Yeah. I just
Still trying to kill
I just want to kill
flies.
things. It's been a while. I need blood.
I'm not going to go into it, but I am a little shocked that you just breezed past the fact that I saw a mountain lion in Ohio.
I've heard this story.
That's a good. I've never heard it.
I've heard the Ohio.
I've never heard
story.
I saw a mountain lion in Ohio.
That's awesome.
No one believed me.
I believe you.
My dad didn't believe me. The very next week, freaking news. Oh, mountain lion spotted in Ohio. And they caught it the next week after that. I almost hit it with my car, dude. It was
told my dad I saw a
That'd be
bear
insane.
out the one spot we've hunted forever. I saw this bear, and this is before they extended the archery, and so it was like, it would have been technically towards the archery season we have now, it would have been in the season.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 50, 60 yards away, right through an open field, okay? I'm looking at it going, I can't believe a bear in this area. So I tell him, he goes, it must have been the landowner's dog. I went, Dad, it was
There's a lot of
50
bears
yards
around now.
away, and I had binoculars on it. What do you mean? I was like, it was a bear. I saw it. I was watching it. I was like in awe. But according to our laws, like the regulations they have now, it actually would have been in season, archery season.
Yeah.
So
We had 4 down there this year.
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of them.
Your cameras
And,
got messed up.
yeah.
out
There's a
there.
lot
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, I had one
Yeah.
too.
He ate my. He
I had
tried
one
to eat my
destroyed.
solar
I bit-
thing
Shoot it with his teeth.
with his face.
He did. He chewed it with his teeth and ripped it off the damn near ripped it off the tree.
It's crazy.
Down,
That's why they make
that was at the
bear-proof
mountains.
boxes.
That was in the mountain. That's what I put up. I'm dead serious. I only have one camera. It's an old
Cuddy back.
cuddy back.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
I
The
still
old
have my
cuddy
old
back.
cuddy back bear
With the
thing
bear box?
screwed into a tree up in Mercer.
You have to screw it into a tree.
Still there.
You have to screw the box into the tree, which is really hard to set those up
It's very hard.
because you got to it's tough to angle them the one kind of the
We
way you
just
want to
drove
angle
past
them.
Joe's. It was still at the property that we're talking about. It's still there on the
I,
tree, just a box.
Yeah, I put the box up because I was like, I still have that old camera with the bear box. I was like, this guy wants a fight. Let's go.
This
Now it's a
cuddy backs,
BNS box.
yeah, those cuddy backs used to be the shit, dude.
They
are.
used to be.
They used to be. They're not anymore.
Well, they were. I mean,
They
for their time, that was the best camera around.
Fastest trigger
Oh.
speed.
It really was.
Like
it was the
they're-
best camera around.
Nobody compared to a cuddy back
No.
in the day.
That's why they had the name they did.
Yeah.
Now you can get a
Now
wilderness. I mean, you can get any camera.
any really, yeah. It's just
I
if
get
you
those
want to sell or
like
not.
you get a wild game $30 camera for crying out loud and gives you quality picture.
Good
Like,
enough.
There's so much.
Whatever
around there.
camera Joe has, though, man, that
I
camera
like
is
those wild games. Are cheap.
garbage.
What is
I
it?
don't remember what it is. He hung it up camp, and I tell you what, he did not have one clear picture.
Oh, yikes.
Every
Really?
picture,
I've
day
never seen that.
or night, I pull them up. They're all blurry.
$30 wild games, man. They
Nah,
give you.
dude, I
They
don't
give
even know
you.
what it was.
It's not blurry every picture. I mean, they give you some pretty good pictures. Some are if it's raining or snowing or something like that. You get like kind of skewed visions, but it's like it's a $30 camera. What do you expect? I could put 1,000,000 of those up though.
I used to buy
Look,
those
I
task
could put
cams from
1,000,000 of
Walmart,
those
dude.
up. Same thing.
I didn't
Same
feel
thing,
bad
the
because
cheap
if they got
ones.
stolen, I wasn't crying about
that's
it.
my whole thing too.
And they took decent pictures.
I've only had 2 stolen, but if like you take it, it's like, you got $30 off me.
Did you
Yeah.
see my $160 stealth cam got beaten to death with a stick?
Oh yeah,
No.
that's we
I didn't
gotta,
know it got
you gotta
beaten to
put-
death.
You got to put that up. I don't understand why you don't.
I know it
blast
got
that
beaten.
on every Facebook.
Dad already
page
put it
possible.
on Facebook without me
Every one of
telling him to.
I put it on every single hunting Facebook page
I
in
got
Western
my-
Pennsylvania.
I got
Do
my,
you know that? Do you know this guy? Because that's ridiculous.
Do you get a picture
dude.
of him?
Yeah.
Oh, clear,
multiple-
clear as
multiple
day.
pictures of him.
Clear as
Let me
day
see.
picture of him.
He was there. The idiot was
He looks
there
really
a week.
familiar too for some reason.
a
I don't know
week
why, 'cause we don't live in
before.
that area.
So I sent a picture to a friend of ours that bartends a couple. Well, he bartends one place and he cooks at another place. Literally right there in the
that
town.
area. And it's
In the
a
block.
small area.
In the block
Put it this
where
way.
this guy, I am
a
assuming this
small
guy
area.
lives in one of these houses at the
He
bottom.
has to.
Buffalo,
and
New York.
walks up in Buffalo. Yeah.
In Buffalo.
Yeah. A lot of snow this time of year.
Yeah.
Buffalo,
Um,
Tennessee.
Oh, here's the bobcat, by the way.
Oh, yeah, dude.
There. Look at him look at him pouncing.
Wow.
Yeah. But here's this jerk
You
off.
spend enough time, you'll see it.
This guy.
Oh, look at that guy.
So
Yeah.
he comes through.
Dude,
That's
he
the
looks-
jabroni special there,
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
dude, he is
He's a
caught
moron.
dead to rights.
But so he
It's
tried
not
to
even
cover
close.
his face.
He looks like his name's Gary.
He does look like a Gary.
He does.
Motherfucking Gary. Yeah,
Guy looks
this
like an
was
asshole. That's what he
this was
looks.
the third picture of him coming up to the camera
You don't do stuff
the
like
day
that.
that he destroyed it, and then
Does he have
decided-
permission?
I don't know. That is the whole problem with this whole thing.
Either way, you don't destroy people's shit.
No. And he's been in there like every day gun hunting. So I'm gonna talk to a landowner and see if they know who he is. And I'm gonna present the guy a couple options. He's gonna either pay for my camera and replace it, or he's gonna get reported.
Very logical, by the way.
Yeah.
He tried to say he reported you and Joey to the game commission.
Yeah. So
which is hilarious because you just destroyed private property.
So he destroyed my one camera and then took it because it was too high for him to reach. Well, the other one, Joe's camera, which of course was a shitty freaking spy point, couldn't have destroyed the shitty spy point, right? I have a dozen of them. No, he has to kill my stealth cam. He puts a bag over top of it.
We saw that.
With a posted sign.
With a posted sign inside of it.
Said, reported to game commission.
Good.
Or something along those lines. It's like, what's funny about that is,
you're a scumbag.
There's not a posted sign on that entire property. There's not.
He brought it with him.
There's not one.
It's never been posted.
This guy just went out and bought one posted sign to put in there somehow.
And you guys have had permission on that property forever.
Over 25 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy is the guy that would take advantage of the rule that we have in Pennsylvania, and he would spray trees purple if
I don't
he
know
had
if
the
it's
choice.
The same guy.
I'm not saying. I'm saying he would. This is why I don't like that rule. He's one of those guys that would spray trees purple the whole way around the property.
He doesn't own
has
dick.
Nothing to do with the ownership. And if you walk on that property now and you get proven guilty, that's a serious fine against you.
Oh yeah.
Well,
this guy doesn't even
have
have
a firearm. That's a felony.
That's what I mean. This guy doesn't have any reason to do that though.
No.
And that's the problem I have with this whole purple paint stuff, because you get those type of guys.
Well, there was the same thing, the same property, but a different part of it that's owned by a different owner. It wasn't him, but another guy that had permission. He went and got permission from him.
But him
and
his
he
son.
went, him and his son, and he went and painted everything. Every
tree.
He even painted property that wasn't his. He painted property that belonged to someone else.
He painted property on the property that we hunt that we know is not his.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So he just went and painted everything. And for
that's
like
the problem
a year
I have
or
with
two,
the purple paint, though.
Would leave us signs like "Take down your standing camera," or "We're going to kick you out. You don't have any permission to be here." And the whole time, I'm thinking, "Who are you?"
I've been here my entire life. I know the exact border that both of these property owners have.
Well, not only that, but we have permission from both property owners,
and you're not on it.
We've had permission from both property owners forever. It's never changed.
We've never been told on either one of those properties, and we've confirmed you're not allowed to be there. That's never happened.
No, never.
These people are just trying to do the thing where they're trying to bully you. They're trying to bully you and go, I only want to hunt this property, so I'm going to bully you out. It's like, bud, we've been here for a long time. Mm-hmm. And he even wrote the note, just because you've hunted here for years doesn't mean you're still allowed to hunt here. And it was like,
well, in his case, he's trying to like, which is not a rule. You have to get permission every single year.
Not in Pennsylvania. Not in Pennsylvania.
Where in a rule book does it tell you have to go and get landowners' permission every single year?
There's an Ohio
You guys
law.
talk to the landowner, though, too.
Yes.
Not the other one, because he's in a freaking halfway house somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if he might be dead.
He's not dead. He's in a nursing home or something. They sold the house.
His daughter has control of all the property.
Yeah, they shifted all.
But he hasn't been in a right mental state for like 10 to 15 years.
I would nail that down as soon as possible.
All I'm saying is like this guy.
Well, that guy
has
don't
not
come around
been.
Anymore.
Yeah,
he don't come around anymore.
He hasn't been in the right mental state for almost 15 years. So it's not like you're actually.
Yeah.
You can go to him and talk to him and have a lucid conversation.
The guy that gave us issues, he doesn't hunt there anymore. Yeah. And what pissed me off in both of these situations is these people dump trash on the property.
Yeah, littering is the biggest form of laziness I've ever seen.
So I walked right past my camera that was destroyed up on the tree. Look up at it, it's broken.
Gary beat it with a stick.
Yeah, I pulled it down. I walked like 5 yards. There's this big stump, and it looks like Gary took his lunch in and got hungry, sat there, and literally just threw trash everywhere. Which, dude, he's 300 yards from his house at this point.
You brought it in.
Bring
it out.
There's a grocery bag, a paper bag, the wrapper from your sandwich, the fucking Italian dressing wrapper on the ground. Like literally his entire lunch, napkins, everything. All around this stuff.
Drives me bananas.
I hate that.
I hate littering more than anything in the woods I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, why are you such a scumbag that you can't take it out how you brought it in.
Dude, Ohio was the
Stop
worst for that.
littering.
Yeah, there was my camera.
That is my number one thing. I hate littering
Destroyed.
more than anything in the world.
And then he just left trash the whole way around the street. There's his bags.
It's ridiculous though.
Oh, there's Joe's buck. And I cleaned it all up, but like
I pick it up too.
I take pictures, so when I have this conversation with the landowner, I'm going to tell him this is the person you're allowing on your land.
Yeah.
This is what he is doing. I have a pin exactly where my camera was. It shows me I'm dead middle of his property. It's not even like I was on the border of another piece of property that we didn't have permission on or anything.
It's not even close.
It's
dead literally not even close.
Center of the property. So it's like, and the funny part is
hundreds of yards away
I'll bet
from
this
anything that's
guy
even conceivable.
I'll bet this guy doesn't have permission on the other
No chance.
property. And we have him on camera on that other property walking past it hunting. So he's just walking all through the woods like he owns the fucking place.
Because he thinks it's one piece of property, and it's not.
It's not.
Jabroni.
And they're big pieces of property, too, though. But like I said, if you
Anyways.
walk from this one to that one, it doesn't mean you're allowed there.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Sucks.
We've gotten yeses every time we've ever talked to these people, every single time.
No, there's no, I mean,
There's
no
no
way.
contemplation over where we're allowed to hunt there.
Yeah.
We've been hunting there for many, many years, and it's always been a yes.
So my plan is much more now motivated.
Yeah, I bet.
And I've talked to you about this, and I've said it on here. I'm going to go talk to the landowner and talk to his son. His son's the one that
His son's
lets
the one you
people
got
hunt.
to go. His son's the one you got to go through now because
But-
he's getting old.
That's not the point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offer him some money. And I'm going to try to lease the land for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Much more motivated. And we're going to get our names on it because I'm sure he'll take the, and at this point now it's like
It's extra
money's-
cheddar, man.
money's not even an issue.
Yeah.
It's like name a price because I want this dude to never touch foot on the ground again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I don't
So,
blame you.
and if
Hunted
he
this year.
does,
We've
he
hunted
will
this
be
land for years. And it's
Prosecuted.
yeah, prosecuted
Yep.
to the fullest of the law. So yeah, my motivation is high.
I
And
don't
if-
blame you.
a lot of exciting
What a
stuff
bummer,
we can
dude.
do there. But yeah, I know. I was pretty pissed off, man. That was
I bet.
now the only fortunate part about that camera getting destroyed is that's the one Joe already broke my fucking antenna off. Still worked, but he busted my antenna last year when he set up the camera. Moron. He had it in his bag and he didn't take the antenna off and it busted. But yeah,
It happens.
He didn't bust it that bad. I still want to pull the card just to see maybe if it got any pictures after he broke the
Upside down.
like after he broke the antenna that went and let it come to my phone. You know what I mean? Before he completely disabled it because it wouldn't even turn on and off when I got there.
Yeah.
So
This was recent.
Mhm.
I'm sure it wasn't
Yeah,
like
it
these
was
drones that are
very
flying
recent.
around
it
everywhere.
wasn't
that
the
did it.
drones. So when Joe shot his buck, we went and checked on those two cameras because he was going to check on them anyways. That's where he was heading when he shot that buck.
Yeah.
Because his kept getting like this weird. It almost looked like it was in a spider web or someone broke the lens on it. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like. And I was like, I said, well, you know that area though, Joe. I mean, maybe a tree fell into it. I mean, a ton of things could happen. I did not have the bingo card that said black bag over it with a posted card in it. So I'm not
Hey,
doing well.
that was the long
Now,
shot. No one played it.
I know mine was turned off or broke. I had high hopes that maybe he just rolled a log over to it, got up and turned it off because it wasn't sending me test photos.
Yeah. He just busted it.
Destroyed it. There was logs. There was a big stick laying right there on the ground beside it.
What a bummer, dude.
Douchebag. Yeah. And then who covers their face
Nobody
and then
likes
doesn't cover the
scumbags.
face long enough? Like,
Yeah,
you don't know how
exactly.
trail cameras work?
Come on, man.
You fucking dildo.
You didn't think we got your photo the first time, like
Yeah.
last week when you
Well,
walked
that's the
past
funny
here?
part. Like, he
Now all of
was-
a sudden you're like, they'll never have my photo again. I'll just cover my face half-ass.
And I have another camera right behind the owner's
Idiot.
house, and he's walked past that the same day. Looked right at it with that same stupid look when he was scouting. He hasn't touched it.
So awesome.
Yeah. So we moved Joe's camera and put it way up in the
Oh,
air
yeah.
where he
Oh,
can't
yeah.
see it anymore. And we had him going in and out.
He's got to get a real big stick.
He would have to have a fucking.
Have to have a 24
Yeah.
inch stick.
He'd have to be up there to
24 foot stick.
if he
You get all
even
the way up
sees
there.
the thing. Like it's up there. You see his old ass trying to knock
Dude,
it down.
he probably had a hell of a time, too. It's probably pretty comical to watch.
See, that's my only concern. I'm like, because there was another guy in there prior to him going in and breaking that camera. There was another guy that hunted it. And at first I almost wondered, did the guy walk past my camera, see the trash laying everywhere from this other guy, potentially.
Yep.
Think I did it, get mad, break the camera. But that doesn't explain why you covered your face.
True.
Why'd you cover your face? You covered your face because you had the intent to come in
Because you were
and break
doing
my
something
camera.
wrong.
Because you didn't want to see, you didn't want people seeing that you were in there.
Right.
Which tells
Right.
me you're a neighbor or something that probably doesn't have. So we've talked about this way too long.
Unreal.
Let's get back to John's. It's a good year. So anyways, speaking of your season, you were talking about how you haven't killed that many deer this year in archery, but you did have some mishaps early on first day.
Yeah.
Hit that limb.
That was up camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, up camp. I had hunted the morning, went to a spot that I normally don't go to because normally up camp, I hunt a specific region up camp, but my tree died.
Oh, no.
Like the tree that I hunt in, it died, and it's kind of like a thing where you can't really get into the area I want to get into without this tree. So I've been forced to adapt. So I went to a different area, got snorted by a couple. Later in the afternoon, hunted an area in the Allegheny National Forest and saw these deer coming in. They're coming in late. And they're coming in. It's about an hour before daylight. But daylight's good. And they're just taking their time. Finally, they come through. It's dark almost, but it's only 15 yards away. Like I have this. It's not, it's not an uneducated shot. I got a good shot on him. Hit a limb, skip over it. Upset about it. No big. But, hunting. What?
I'm just looking at you. I'm listening to the story.
No, that's about all there is to it. Like, you can't kill every deer. I get it, but it's frustrating because no one in our camp killed any deer.
No, I mean that you literally had the only opportunity that
I was the only one that had, and it was 15 yards. It just happened
that's
to be
a
a
bummer.
random limb that clipped my arrow. Like I said, when it's that dark, you really can't see something that's half the size of your finger.
Yeah.
Especially
once you get in the peep.
Yeah, it's
gone.
It is what it is, but we didn't have a good first day.
No, but
we really did.
Numbers were down.
Number of hunters was down too. You have to realize that we didn't have that many hunters.
Our hunter numbers were down.
Yeah,
I had an opportunity in the morning, but it was whatever. But like we've had good first days.
We've had a lot of really good first days because that's the best time, as up our camp. Is the first 2 weeks before they allow that whole
I think it's been better.
Season.
I think they did good by us with shortening the bear season to 3 days.
A lot better.
I didn't realize they did that at first until I saw it on the book, and I'm like, that is nice.
Yeah, because that used to be our thing. You have to kill a deer in the first 2 weeks up our camp, or you really have to try. Like you have to go 1.5 miles back in to kill doe. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that area.
Yeah, you can find
those
little pockets.
There's so much woods though.
Yeah.
Like if you get people moving through there, it's tough to get deer moving. Regularly how you want them to after the first 2 weeks.
I'd
say first 2
it,
weeks is kind of like the money spot for our camp.
I'd say it made a difference because we were up there. I was up there with Graybeard. Shit, what was that first couple of days of November? And dude, we had deer running around all over the place. Like I was hunting in the middle of the slash. I had 2 bucks within 10 yards. Like. Giant, bucks, really nice bucks, like good shooter bucks at 10 yards.
Oh yeah, I remember that when you were in a slash.
Yeah, just deer walking right up to me. I literally had a deer that came from me to you away, and I am not exaggerating. It was me to you away, and I could not get drawn on this motherfucker on the ground. He walked that close to me, and there was a buck with no antlers. And
see, I thought you were climbing at that point.
No, I was fucking.
Dad's the one who told me. He goes, no. When you were in that little slash area, he said, no, he was on the ground. I said, oh shit. Yeah. I thought you were just getting like 10, 12 feet climbing in the area.
No.
He was tucked in. No, he was on the ground. I was like, well, that explains why I couldn't shoot anything because it was hard. 4.5 feet away from him.
Dude, not even. I'm not kidding. Like, not even 4. How many feet you think you are from here right now? 3?
3.
Yeah, that's how far
Max.
it was. And I'm not kidding. This buck almost stepped on my foot.
I thought you went up, I thought you went up like 8 feet, 10 feet. Like that's what I thought you were trying to do in that area.
You just can't. I was at. You just can't. And it's perfect because there's a big tree that fell down, and there's like a bunch of shit that fell down together right there, and you can just nuzzle into it.
Yeah.
Basically, and like I said, I had 2 really good bucks within 10 yards of me. They all cross right. All the trails cross right where I'm at. And
hunting from the grounds is a different animal.
It is.
It's a really different animal. I've done it before, and it's tough. Yeah. It's wild.
It was my
fault. For doe.
Could you imagine if I would have shot that deer at that at that range.
Dude, I shot
that
one
would
at
have
3
been
yards on the
wild.
ground. It was gnarly, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah. Through both shoulders, dude.
Yeah, that was years
It was
ago.
crazy.
That dude, it was
Crazy. I thought it was going to run me over.
I shot one up camp, and I shot one up camp in the school bus turnaround area,
Mhm.
where the school bus turns around for all the camps in the back.
Yeah, dude.
I used to hunt that because I'm like, every time we come back here at night, there's deer in here. I'm like, why doesn't anyone hunt this? I hunted it from the ground, and it was an hour and a half. I had a deer walking around within 10 to 15 yards of me for an hour and a half.
Isn't that
walking
wild?
around, almost getting it, almost getting it. It's like, because you can't move.
No.
Yeah, it's
You
different animal.
can't do anything.
You got to pick your shot
Yep.
big time,
It
dude.
comes around. This deer comes around, and there's a family in a minivan driving down the road. I mean, I'm 15, 20 feet off the road. There's a family in a minivan comes down, and they go, "Oh, Daddy, look at the deer!" And I'm like, I'm full draw. I've been watching this for an hour and a half. I finally have this deer. It's my only has to take one more step. I'm full draw, and this little girl says that, and I'm going, I can shoot this deer in the neck right now and ruin her life. Or I can wait. Because I've been full draw for like 25, 30 seconds, waiting for this deer just to walk out. And it's 10 yards away from me. I'm huddled down in this little area right now. They end up just randomly going past me, takes an extra step, and I blow this deer's heart out. But I'm thinking, I'm like, I could ruin this little girl's life right now by just blowing this deer's neck out. Because all I had was neck.
yeah.
All I could see was like its front side.
Those
of
are
its,
gruesome shots, man.
It was really around. I could make it because we were 10 yards away. But other than that, like, yeah, it was going to be like I shot the deer in the throat. She was only going to see blood spray. It's what she was going to see. I'm like, I'm thinking the whole time, I can't scar this little girl for life. No, I really can't. She's going to grow up hating hunting and all this stuff. Like, that's not what I want. No. Yeah, that was a fun little hunt though.
Ground hunting.
But
is
ground
fun.
hunting it's weird.
It is.
different.
You don't realize how hard it is. Like,
You're
you
on their
can't-
freaking level,
You
dude.
can't move at all.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
like, you get so
problem, too,
accustomed
like-
when you're in trees to just
Yeah.
being able to do kind of what you want to
A
do.
little bit, yeah. But the
More.
problem
Maybe,
is,
yeah,
like, if
more.
they're looking your direction at all, you think they're looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
No
because
chance.
because you're literally, like you said, you're on their plane. So that's
Yeah.
what happened with this deer. When I
No
saw him,
chance.
he came in from behind me, and he literally came directly at me the whole time, looking what I thought was at me. That deer had no clue I was there.
No.
He had no clue I was a person.
You
He
couldn't
had-
tell that though.
I had no idea. So like, I had all the tension on my bow I could get, but when he walked in and literally just kept coming right at me and turned, and he got to where John was, and thank God I was in this blowdown. He turned in front of me, and I probably could have poked him with my arrow at that point. Like, that's how close he was. I've never been that close to a live deer before
yeah.
in my life. Like,
That's
the,
wild.
The next closest was that video I had in West Virginia turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah.
When I almost let that deer run me over, that buck, real nice buck actually, and he was coming in, and I like kicked my leg up at him, and he freaked out
Yeah.
and ran away. That was the second closest. This was the closest I've ever had a deer to me. But it's different, man. From the ground is just weird.
It
The ground is 100%
It's so much more
different.
fun. Like even
It
my,
is. It's more rewarding because you realize.
Oh, if you get it
what
done, it's
kind-
wild.
What kind of an
Mhm.
achievement that is
Oh, yeah.
at that point.
That's why I like climbing
It's really
low
cool.
nowadays too, because like I like
I don't
being
like that at
6
all.
to 10 feet off the ground. You're so much more of a personal
No.
level with these deer. Like, plus you have such a better angle at them.
Well,
too.
if you have good cover, I'll climb
I'll
that
get you
low.
with that. I'll
Yeah,
get you with that with the
angle
angle.
is so much better.
But guess what? I'll climb 25 to 30 and not have to worry about as much wind.
I couldn't
You
even
not have
tell
to
you the
worry
last
about-
time I was that high.
Really?
It
Couldn't even tell
depends,
you.
man. If I don't have a lot
I've
of
been
cover,
that
I'm
high a
going
lot of
higher.
times.
It
I don't think we're
depends.
talking about the same thing anymore.
It depends. If I don't have the cover, I'm going higher.
Well, that's the thing.
I
If I
like
have
the
cover, I
cover,
stay
though.
lower.
I might.
No, I
if
like
I
it.
got cover, dude, I'll stay 10 feet, 8 feet, 2 sticks if I want to. No aider.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot
don't know,
of
man.
lot of
I
deer
like-
I've killed lately.
I like
I've
to climb higher.
I've been low.
Just like you say, if you have it at 15, 16,
That's
that's,
where I'll
cool.
be. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but
it's a
If
good.
you don't, if you can climb 25 feet in the air, I'd prefer it.
Oh yeah.
it just takes out another element. It takes out a tool of theirs, their nose. I mean, when you climb 25 plus, you're really diminishing the nose.
See, I shot mine pretty high this year. I climbed up a buddy's stand, and I climbed up on his stand and hung another stick and went up higher. I was pretty damn high this year. But like, thinking back to like the climber days and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
going real high.
Yep.
I don't like that angle.
I hate the angle.
Angle
like 30 is a terrible angle.
Yeah.
It really is. And then if you're on like a slight of a hill or a slope or anything, remember how Russ's lock-on used to be down in the valley? Like if you, like the lock-on was only 16, 18 feet.
I don't know. He had that thing pretty much maxed out.
But
that was the worst lock-on.
But if you look down in the valley, like you
into.
were looking into a valley, you had a shot that was like 50 some feet below what you were at.
Isn't that wild?
It was outrageous.
It was weird.
You had to aim. So like 50 yards, you would have to aim. Like, because I only shoot one pin. 50 yards, you'd have to shoot like a 20-yard pin. It was wild. How crazy. Ask Charles. It was crazy, dude. But guess what? Bucks ran through that valley.
They used to. They don't anymore.
They used to run through that valley.
They don't anymore. But they did.
I haven't. You haven't hunted. I don't know.
Last time I hunted it, I almost fell asleep, and I don't
you
think I had a
have
harness
to
on.
aim.
I was so scared.
You have to, dude. And back in the day, Ross used to all his lock-ons and stuff like that were like you had to have a key to get in, like not a key, like you had to have a guide to get into them because it was like, Ross, how do I get into your stand? Well, you got to grab this tree over here, and then you swing, and then you grab the other tree, and then you pull yourself to the left, and it's like.
So stupid.
Why don't I just step into the stand, Russ? Oh, wait, because I don't want other people hunting my stands, he would say. So he had, I'm telling you, I was like 13, 14 years old trying to get into one of Russ's stands. It's like, you would tie off in the back days of the time. You would tie off and just hope you didn't fall.
Yeah, you're crawling into it.
It was
you're basically crawling onto the stand platform.
Or climbing.
And then getting into the tree.
Climbing.
Oh, my.
It was bad.
It was so dangerous when we were like 13, 14 years old.
And that stand, too, is like
Russ,
rock climbing on the way
that
up.
one was worse because if you fall off one end, you're falling 50, 60 feet. Like you're only like 15, 16 feet off the ground, 18 feet off the ground.
Probably
if you fall that way, you're falling like 50 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was on the side of a cliff. Or it was on the side of a ravine, actually, not a cliff.
That's like Rob used to have this stand. I think the stand's still up there. I think it got to the point where he was like, I'm not going up to get that
Wild.
one. Like, called it the skyscraper, dude.
Yeah. Why would you set stands up like that? He said, I don't want people in my stands, is what he said. I'm like, Russ, the way you set your stands up, I don't think you have a chance of anyone hunting your stands because no one's going to be as dumb as you.
No.
Climb and do
climb
this
right
and do
beside
that
the stand.
to do this and do to do this and do that and do that to get into your stand. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
There was like you had to ask him for like the cheat code to get into his stand. It's like, how do I get into it without dying?
I can still remember a couple of cheat codes.
Left, right, up,
it
down.
was. It was like up, down, left, right, B.
That's how you get
Fireball.
That's how you get a Russ lock on.
That's how you get Russ's lock on.
Dude, I'm telling you, that stand was
I'm
bad
dead serious. I'm not joking.
But the tree like leaned back. So as you were climbing, you were all like climbing, the negative of the tree.
Towards,
right?
Towards,
yeah, because the tree's leaning backwards. So you're literally rock climbing.
It was so bad.
Like, I remember climbing that. My arms are like locked inside like this. Like, normally you just climb.
Yeah.
No, I had my arms like this, locked.
No, it was really bad.
Terrified the whole time.
It's just horrible.
Well, and it was an old style lock on. The original lock on that was on there. It was an old style lock on. So it was like half the size of your butt.
It's just platform.
And it was like half the size of your feet. Like, I wear a 13, you're a 12.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude,
so it's like your whole front of your foot is hanging out over the actual platform.
Beautiful.
It was one of those old lock-ons where it wasn't big. So it's like you're sitting and you're leaning forward in a seat that isn't big enough for your ass, with a platform that isn't big enough for your feet,
and no limbs,
and you're hanging over a 50-foot drop off.
That's the worst part.
It's like, what are you doing right now?
You know how a lot of them stands used to be back in the day. Like if there are limbs around you, you feel comfortable. This had zero limbs.
No, this was
like you were
falling off a cliff if you fell.
Yeah, it's bad. So stupid.
Come on, Russ.
But there were a lot, dude. There were a lot of deer that ran through there, though.
And
That's the reason-
now,
Hey, dude, Russ
He
used to
shot that
hunt.
big 10 point in there.
Yeah, he did.
He
You know
shot
what?
that giant in there
It's
and
funny.
never found it.
That big 10 point. I was with him for that hunt, and it was 2 weeks before the rut. And he was like, he wasn't gonna be able to hunt the rut because his work schedule. He's like, look, I'm gonna make sure because I haven't been in there in a while. Make sure the stand's good for you because it's sketchy as hell.
yeah.
Make sure the stand's good for you so you can hunt it for the rut. You know what I mean? He goes in. He's in there for 10 minutes in his stand. He's going in there to make sure the ratchet strap's good. You know what I mean? Check everything you should be checking on your stands.
For sure.
Checking the ratchet strap's good and the cables are fine and all that stuff. He's in his stand for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Deer comes in, bit, 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 right up the valley, right up through the valley. 2 weeks before the rut, he shoots it, misgauges the judgment because it's very, very easy to do that bottom. Spines the deer, drops it, kills it.
Well, not only that, you got a fucking angle of like 4-inch shot
Oh, it's
for
insane.
the vitals.
It's insane. You have this. I don't know. It might be 4 inches. It's a very, very, very narrow shot at that point. Like it's such a bad angle. It's ridiculous.
Because it's really only.
But there's deer that come through there.
Yeah, it was only 30 yards to the trail that he
But
hunted.
it shot
a lot closer.
But it shot like
Yeah.
15.
Right.
It was 35, 40 yards was the farthest you could shoot. It shot like 15.
Different.
Yeah.
Like that's
It was weird.
I shoot one pin, so that's really different.
Yeah,
I've hunted. I've seen a lot of deer out of that area, but it's not.
Yeah, he shot that deer. He shot that 10 point, gauging the area for me for later in the year. He's
That's wild.
in
Dude.
and not even 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes. It came right in. 2 weeks before the rut. Just ran right into him. I said, that sounds like a Joey story. Oh, wait, a Russ story, I mean.
Yeah.
Because it used to be Russ stories. Now they're Joey stories.
Shot him right in the toe.
Oh, no, I missed him by, a foot, but hit him in the spine and killed him.
Yeah.
Or it ran right into me. That's what it used to be. My dad used to say that. Your brother's got a horseshoe shoved up his ass. It used to be Russ. He switched.
The shit.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Joe, luck don't last forever, lawn boy.
What a great movie. Summer Catch
It was a good
2000.
movie. So anyways, that's a good transition into some mobile stuff because now we're a lot more mobile hunting than those old days where it was
Yeah,
like
I'm just like
lock on
thinking
or
about
ladder.
him one sticking now. My God.
Yeah, I don't even know what Russ does with his one sticking and stuff. I know he has all of his own knots and shit that he uses to repel with whatever equipment he does. Do your thing, man. I'm going to use this nice Mad Rock.
He does
Descender.
some unique shit.
He does some weird
'Cause
ass shit.
I've I've talking to you, like,
Yeah.
getting more into the hunting,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get more mobile, because everyone's seen that area where you're in that area and you're like, good spot, and this and that. And it's just deer moving
Over there.
over, 40 yards that way, 50
You don't have a
yards that
climber
way.
tree over there.
But
so
there's
it's like-
but there's not an area to get into that tree.
right.
And that's why I talked to Charles. And that's how I killed my buck this year. It was in an area where I was trying to get hold of Joey, our youngest brother, and working a lot and stuff like that, to buy his saddle I was trying to transition this year to saddle. So I tried to get a hold of him and we couldn't really do that. So I told Russ, I got a hold of Russ, and I actually used the Lone Wolf stand. Because I'm like, Russ, I had to ask him because I don't have a Lone Wolf, like the stand set up. Where you guys first did it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
You
Stand and
first did it.
sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stand and sticks.
Yep.
So I have the sticks. I'm like, the area I need to be for this deer, I can't climb. I can't do any of that stuff. I need to be mobile, which is why more reason why I want to get into the,
It just starts making sense.
Well, it always made sense. It's just like there's certain areas that it really helps.
Oh, yeah.
And this is one of those areas. So I ended up borrowing a stand off of Russ. And I'm climbing up this tree. God, this tree looks really good. No, that tree looks even better. You go to every tree. Every tree looks a little better than that. Like, I got more area that way. I climbed this tree. The more I'm climbing up this tree, I'm realizing it's dead.
You and
Look.
dead trees, buddy.
Hey, it's not alive. It's not dead, but it's not the least dead tree. So I'm like, the more I'm climbing up, and I'm going, I don't got time to climb a different tree. So I was supposed to be going up the mountains with my dad, and I told him, I said, I got a really good feeling about this area. I'm going to try and hunt these trees. Got a hold of Russ, got the stand. I'm climbing up. I'm like, I even text him. I say, hey, Russ, why don't you, when you get it, because it gets dark about around the same time, Russ gets out of work. I said, hey, when you get out of work, why don't you text me and ask me if like I'm okay?
Am I cool?
He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm kind of in a sketchy tree. He's like, sketchy as in like dead or sketchy as in like too small? I'm like, well, kind of both. Like, it's not as big as my thigh. Like, it's big enough if it was alive.
Yeah.
It's not that alive. And that was the tree I ended up killing that deer out of, which was awesome.
It worked.
Which was awesome because I've done that before in up the mountains and had a dead tree. And I was going to climb the tree. Didn't climb it. Ended up costing myself an enormous buck because I walked around, find a tree, and eventually came back to around the same area I was going to climb. This time I'm really, once in a lifetime.
That happens to me, man.
Which
paralysis by analysis. You just start looking at trees.
Which
walking around.
Really sucked. But it was early. It was like a couple weeks before the rut. It was like 2 weeks before the rut. We were up the mountains. I'm like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, I got plenty of time to find a tree.
Depending on what time of year it is.
It was like 2 weeks before the rut, dude. It was early, real early.
Yeah, but
especially for that area.
That time frame, though, what you're talking about, that's like the same time I killed my buck. It was a couple weeks before the rut. But we had that cold front that came in.
Yeah.
If you go through some of the cameras, especially at camp, every big deer was on their feet.
That's why I was up in that area.
Daylight.
That's why I was in that area. That's why I went so
16th
early.
through the 18th.
Yep.
It was bananas.
But mine was more to like the 1 o'clock type stuff. I was like, I got in there at 11. I got in there as early as I thought. Instead of hunting morning, you know what I mean? I went in there like 9, 10 o'clock and wanted to hunt like all the, you know what I mean? I wanted to set up a stand for the rut. Go in there and it's like 3-tiered kind of that valley I hunt. It's kind of 3-tiered. So that's why they like it too.
It's got like shelves on it.
Exactly. Yeah. So they can walk up like that second shelf and see the whole way up and basically smell the whole way down.
Yeah.
Like they can kind of get a good area of that, and it's always swirling. The wind is nonstop swirling down there. There's never an error. There's never a direction.
Yeah.
Which is really cool for those deer because, you know, I mean, you can kind of figure out what's going on. I went in there and I'm like, I'll set up this stand. It was a lock-on. I was going to do with the mobile sticks. I was doing mobile stick lock-ons at that time, which our family was doing because we were figuring like there's 4 of us. We can all hang lock-on 20 feet in the tree or 18 feet in the tree, and we can all hunt them just with our mobile sticks. You know, just take your lone wolves in.
Yeah.
Which was a great idea when we had that. We're like, I mean, there's 4 of us. How many lock-ons can we put in Pennsylvania and all hunt?
Yeah.
At the same time, like, you know what I mean? I want to hunt this, go hunt it. We just drop each other pins. So I go in, I'm like, we saw this deer coming through, little scraggly 8-point, and he's nose down. I'm like, that's weird. That's like a couple weeks early for being like that. He was locked on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Go down. My buddy goes the other way. He's setting a stand down. We had drop over the first level. I come to the area where that deer went through. It's like a cattle path.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's literally pounded to the ground. I'm like, oh, let's hunt 25 yards from this. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of different where that is because, the canopy effect, where we hunt. Like, you can only climb so high and actually see.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can climb 25, 30 feet. You can't. You have to climb, 12 to 15 feet in the air to see anything in this area we're at, which is really cool because, like I said, you have a better angle. But you got to really watch your wind, which is tough because it's always swirling down. I'm like, I find this perfect 25 degree. Cool. Look up. It's like, okay.
You're like drawn to dead trees.
It's insane. So I love this tree. I'm like, man, I really want to climb this tree. And I should have just climbed it in retrospect. But I'm like, I'm setting this tree up for the rut. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to hunt this tree all year. So I set all my stuff down except for my bow because I've had encounters in that area. With just walking around. It's about 15, 20 minutes, find a tree. I'm like, okay, this is a good tree. See this area, see that area. Going back to get my stuff, I take a step. I'm being cautious, take a step. I look to my left. I was like, I see a big body. I screwed up because I should have just went down to a knee. I want to look to see what the big body is because I'm like, it was a body. It wasn't mass. It was just a body-sized deer. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's another deer on that path. I go like this to look around the tree on the right side. And this deer makes a left-hand look and looks right at me. And it's the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life. And it's not close. Like I've had 2 deer down in that bottom. Joey killed one of them. It was almost 140. I think it was 139.
Something like that.
And there was another deer that I had in that bottom that was about close to 140-ish. They were both like close to 140-ish deer.
Real good deer.
This deer wasn't even close to that. it wasn't even remotely close to that. And it was probably about 170, 175 inch deer. And I don't say that lightly. And you know that. I'm just saying this deer was absolutely massive. 15 yards away from me, looking at me. I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to get on with my, and I connect, I pull, I'm like, there's no arrow on my string. I was so frazzled. His deer was enormous. I couldn't even compute what was happening. I never knocked an arrow. I just tried to get I was trying to get on my lead. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it was.
Dude, thank God you did dry fire.
This thing.
Imagine dry firing on a deer of a lifetime.
Dude, this thing took, this is how I realized how big it was.
I would cry.
It took 2 bounds, 2 big bounds, and another one, and it was about probably 570 yards away, and it turned its head, and both its G3s, giant 6-inch forks at the top, and I'm looking at this thing going, there's no way. I sat on my knees and I sulked.
I cried
for about 15 minutes. I was like, I don't want to hunt anymore. I definitely don't want to hunt today. I want to go home and just start drinking beer. I need to do something.
Take a
that
bath.
that makes me not so sad right now. That deer was enormous. I've never seen an animal
wasn't
like
one
that.
of the
And
deer I sent you guys from Joe's camera.
No,
was it this one?
No. This was years ago.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this year.
No. I didn't tell anybody about this.
And another split.
See, I didn't
double
tell
split G2.
I only told 2 people about this. No, I only told 2 people about this. This is about 5 or 6 years ago because I was so upset.
Probably one of the ones Sam had on camera back then.
I didn't even want to talk. No, it was, you would notice it.
Dude, he had
because the twos were about 12 to 13 inches long. At least 3s went up about 6-8 inches and then forked and had a 6-inch fork on both sides. Because that's when I saw him when he stopped at 70 yards, went like this, and he turned his. I could see the 3s, both of the 3s uniformly forked, and then the 2s, and that did. If he wasn't 24 inches, everyone says this, so I hate saying that though. Everyone says that.
Yeah, because even 20 inches wide looks like a 24 inch.
But
it
20
wasn't, inches wide.
But it wasn't.
Is real wide.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just
like Ferrucci's buck.
I know.
Perfect example.
I know.
That deer
22, right?
was more than that. I think it was 23 plus, almost
22.
24 inches wide, and that thing was fucking bullwinkle.
So far.
Oh, yeah.
Well, his kept going out.
Yeah, his was bullwinkle.
My uncle shot one up
wide.
too.
This
It
thing-
was 24 wide.
This thing was so
Huge.
wide and so tall. I'm thinking, how does he go through the thickets that I know that he's
They
walking
crashed
through?
through them.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But how do they
crashed
go through without making any noise?
They don't.
No, they make
You listen,
noise.
you'll hear them.
Yep.
You'll hear a
clink-clanking
lot of
through.
people talk about you can
This
hear
deer-
the antlers hitting off
Yeah.
of
Dude, this
the little
deer-
saplings.
This deer was so outrageous. I've never seen an animal like that in my life.
Yeah, there's a few. up
I've
there
seen a
like
lot
that.
of really, really big deer up there. This thing, when it turned, and it looked like it was
yeah.
so far outside of its ears, I bet you it was 4 to 6 inches out of each side of its ear. It was insane.
There's been some outrageous
How big it
deer
was.
killed up there.
And
too,
I don't
though.
like to say that because everyone goes, 24 and 12, he was this big. And I'm like, yeah, was he though? Was he really?
Well, everybody,
'Cause I don't-
every deer, especially running
every
away,
deer's
looks wider.
enormous. And you measure it. You measure my deer. And I thought my deer was 20 inches lower than it was.
Yeah,
I don't overestimate deer. I'd prefer to say, oh, it's a 120 and it comes out to be 130.
Yeah.
Than saying it's a 130, it comes out to be a 118. It's like you look like an idiot.
yeah.
Because it doesn't, but the thing is,
Some deer
it
are
doesn't
hard to
make any
judge. Some
sense.
deer
though.
aren't. Your deer was hard to judge. Some other deer, even my buck this year, was hard to judge.
It was hard to judge because it was so thick and
it's-
had no spread whatsoever.
Yeah.
But spread
Spread
is
doesn't matter.
only, that's the whole thing. I didn't
It's
realize that
main-
because I don't measure deer
Your
like
deer
you
had
measure
main
deer, though.
beam length, which is where a lot of the points come from. Main beam length.
Yep.
Like my buck on the wall from probably 4 years ago scored 126.
Yeah, the one that just made Poper.
Just made
Yeah.
it as a 10-point with a split brow. And he had 17-inch beams, but he
That's
had
ridiculous.
a lot of height on his points.
That's ridiculous.
But you got
17-inch beams.
they're short beams, right? So normal when you get those points, you normally have someone has a buck that has over 20-inch beams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want to get there, you want to get to them higher numbers, you got to have beams that are 22, 23.
And that's what I didn't realize. The one beam was 22 and 6/8 or something like that. And the other one was 21 and something. He was like, I was like, yeah, he's like, no, anything over 20 is good. I'm like, I don't measure deer. Charles,
yeah.
I mean, Charles measures a ton of deer. That's why I told him. I said, let's measure it, see what it is. And he measured it. It came out and went, you did that wrong. Let's do that again. I was like, there's no chance you did. There's no chance you did that right. Let's do it again.
No, that was a good deer, dude.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem to add up to that in my brain.
That makes sense.
Let's talk about the story. Why don't you tell the story of the deer real quick? And then
it's an easy story.
We could wrap. Yeah. Well, we can wrap up with that at least. Anyhow, we're getting up there regardless. But I want to talk about the deer story.
Yeah.
Highlight of your season.
Hey, it was the highlight of my season. It was good. The only reason I found the area this deer was in is because I shot a doe a couple of days before that on a different part of the property. It ran up through there, and I saw some crazy sign through this area. Like there were scrapes, rubs, everything, and then it was a noticeable like musk. You could smell them. You could smell this deer in the area, and I went, "What the?" Because I went the next day. Finished the blood trail from my deer, and I could just smell it. It was so thick, and I'm like, "That's weird." I've never had it like that though. Like it was so strong, right on top of you. Kicked up a deer. Cool. Look over. I end up going through there. Found the blood from the other deer I was tracking. Never ended up finding the doe I was tracking. I mean, must have hit it high. Didn't know what was going on. I just realized there was really good sign in it, and there was that nasty, like real strong smell. So that's why I told my dad I was supposed to go up camp. I told my dad, I said, I really like this area. I'm gonna try, and that's why I got Russ's mobile setup, because there's the only way to get into the area I really wanted to get into was with the mobile setup. Set up, went in there early. Went in there like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I mean, this is way before the rut and everything like that. I just wanted to get in there before anything happened.
Yeah, I like doing that.
Just because you don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
You don't know how long it's going to take you to set up. It might take you an hour and a half, 2 hours. Get in there and set up. You don't know. It depends on where you're at, how far you're walking. Got in there early, and I was only in there for 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I like that.
And like I said, it's still early, so I don't want to like aggressive grunt. So I'm just like, it's just some real short, abbreviated grunts, nothing, hanging out, chilling for a while. It's been like half hour, 45 minutes. Again, flying in. I can hear it. And I didn't even know it was a deer. I thought it might have been a squirrel because it was just kind of really rushed sound. You know what I mean? Like it could be a squirrel or whatever it was. I turn around, it's behind me. I'm looking, nothing. I'm looking, I see something. I see a deer. I'm like, okay, cool. You're coming. I've only been in stand for like an hour.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect. Like, it's awesome.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's awesome when you don't have to wait 5-6 hours or something. I'm like, okay, cool. And it looks like an average sized deer for where it's at. It's probably about 100 yards away. I'm trying to get the binocs on it and stuff and see where it comes in. I saw it come in, and I saw the right side where the G3 is broken off on so it doesn't look very impressive. I'm like, okay, maybe it's kind of a skank buck. And it kind of turns the corner, and I pull the binocs up again, and I see the left side's it's a 10-inch G2 and a 9-inch G3. Like, I'm like, okay, we're taking this deer. Like, I don't care what it is. Well, yeah, the right side, I had a picture of this deer actually less than a week before I shot it with the G3 on it. So that's why it confused me. I didn't think it was the same deer because the G3 was probably about 5 inches. No, not a big one, but it was broken, and the right side wasn't very impressive. It was the left side that really sold the deer.
Right.
But I didn't look at anything past that. I saw the 10-inch G3. I saw the 9-inch G2, and I'm going, I'm on this deer. I'm blowing. Exactly. I'm blowing this deer up. And it came through, and it was really thick where I was at. There was a couple little pockets, and he kind of made a move where I was thinking, I'm not going to get a shot on this deer. He keeps going straight. He's really going to kind of block me out of my shot. Like I really can't get a shot on him unless he comes into this wide open area, which you don't expect big deer to come into wide open. And he didn't, because he kind of turned the other way, and then I had to kind of readjust and turn to my left, and he kind of filtered in this little pocket, and he stopped. Like I said, I have not looked at this deer through my binocs since I saw the G2, G3 that were high. I'm like, I'm going after it. He kind of got in this pocket. He was only about 30 yards away, and I missed him because he looked like he was going to move, so I rushed a shot, and I missed him back, a little bit back, which I text my brothers You know, I mean, I hit him and I'm like, geez, I can't believe I missed that deer so far back. And I really didn't in real life.
He hit the deer, by the way. He didn't actually miss the deer.
No, I didn't miss him. I missed him. I missed him.
You missed your mark.
My target.
Yeah, you
back.
missed your mark.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed my target back. But like, I'm used to like, you know what I mean, perfect down in the pocket, blowing out the armpit type of thing. And I text, and like I said, my brother has a lot of wealth of experience. So does Russ. You know, Charles and Russ have so much wealth of experience. So I text Charles. I text Russ. I'm like, what do you think? I mean, like, we're kind of in agreement what we should think we should do. I don't think we should do anything tonight. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, and they're like, how far back? And I'm like, kind of trying to explain how far back, because far back to me is probably not as far back as other people think, like past the gut and stuff. Like, no, I just missed blowing his heart out is what I meant by back. I probably missed my shot by about 4 inches.
You broke the diaphragm.
I hit the liver.
It sounded like a liver shot.
I hit the liver and blew the guts out.
Okay.
So, but what I heard was, I have really good hearing, so I heard the deer take a couple big bounds and stop.
Oh, yeah.
Like completely stop. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear it keep walking. I didn't hear it do anything. And I'm like, well, that's good. Like, and that's what we were talking about.
Also
like we were trying to talk through. Yeah,
shot
exactly.
That's back.
It's back.
Yeah.
And that's
they hunch up.
That's
and they do that.
exactly. But he didn't do that when I shot him. And they said, what happened? So when I shot him, he spun and the arrow went through, but he spun and snapped the arrow off a tree because there was a tree right next to where I shot him. So as soon as he spun, he snapped the arrow off.
Which also threw me off a little bit.
Which was really weird.
If he snapped the arrow off, that means you had to have your arrow lodged into something pretty solid, but you don't really think about, like, when you shoot even and hit the guts.
Gut stick,
like, dude, the guts are like shooting a pillow, you know? Like, especially with a big mechanical broadhead.
It slows them down.
There's nothing to accelerate there.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him and I'm talking to our oldest brother. Kind of what we develop a plan. We're like, you know what? We're not going to, and it's been raining too. Still like raining. Cause I'm like, I look at my binocs from the tree and I see blotches of blood like within like 40 yards. I can track blood for like 40 yards just with my binocular from the tree. I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, we got spots, hand size fill spots of blood. He's like, all right, get down. I'm like, there's so many deer around me. There were so many deer around me that day. I couldn't even get out of my stand because I didn't want to blow the place out. Yeah. Not even that. I didn't want to blow that deer out.
Yeah.
I had two different things I could have shot doe on that.
You gotta crawl out like a freaking ninja, dude.
I could have shot 2 different doe in that same situation. I'm like, I don't want to shoot them and then run that way and scare this deer. Like, I didn't want to blow it out at all.
Oh, yeah.
So we come back. I text him. Me and him decide we're going to come back in the morning. We go out in the morning. There's nothing. There's my arrow. There's a little tiny patch of blood. There's quarter size spot of blood.
And there was like hair with like a little bit of blood and like meat on it at the hit zone.
So you're thinking
the
like
hit site.
Muscle.
No. It was white hair.
It was white hair.
Like it's confirming what we already know. The shot's back. Right?
Yeah.
But that's all we found was the hair at the hit site.
And what was the broken off arrow like? Greasy or what was it?
We didn't find
stink or anything?
Didn't find the end of the arrow.
Oh, you didn't find it?
We
only
never
found the first
found
half.
it, huh?
Just the first half.
Yeah, we never
found
really?
the second half of the arrow, no.
Wasn't even in the deer. But we started tracking and
it's weird.
When you're in that spot, there's a couple main trails that go and they want to cross the road.
Yeah.
But like
I kind of told him like which way they were going.
Yeah.
And I went the other way and he went this way.
Yeah. The story he told me was, the deer bounded a couple times and I lost sight of him. Well, when he's talking about he lost sight of him, I'm looking at the trails are wide open. You can see from his stand, you can see down that one lane.
You'd have seen him
all the way to the road, and I'm like,
yes, it wasn't a far lane from the road. It's just,
dude, that doesn't make sense to me.
I said it kind of went to my left, and I lost sight of it in this area right here.
Yeah, so it didn't make sense to me that the deer would have just kept going straight. You would have seen it.
You would have seen it.
So I'm looking to the left, and there's a trail that cuts into this thick area, and I mean it's thick. And the trail's nice. It's like really nice.
He's going
really
straight
well
for
used.
cover.
Yeah, there's a rub inside of it. Like it looks like an area a deer would sit in bed because it's a little thick area right on the edge of all this open stuff. So I'm starting to make my way through it with my head down, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, there's no fucking blood anywhere. dude, I'm not kidding. We didn't find a spot.
We didn't find anything. I went right.
Blood.
I went right on the other trail. Like it was like there's another trail this way. There's a lot of deer using this trail over here. I went this way and I saw nothing. I'm thinking we're gonna lose this deer because it rained last night. It rained the night before. Like we're gonna lose this deer. This is unbelievable, dude. Like I didn't put that bad of a shot
got a dog
on.
in there. And
Bringing
found
the
it.
dogs.
We would have got a dog and found it for sure.
You're okay.
So while John takes a pee break, I'm going to take over the story a little bit. So at that point, I'm trying to put the puzzle just together. Like I understand what he's told me. Everything he said tells me liver shot, back. You know, he didn't hear the deer for after it went to that floor.
It was probably creeping, dude.
Well, he just said it went so far and he didn't hear it at all. He didn't see it. And I'm like looking at this area and I'm playing it out and I'm like, dude, if it would have went straight, he would have seen it. If it would have went left through this thick stuff on the other side, he would have seen it. Because it's open woods again. I'm like, all these things, he would have seen it. So I start crawling through this thick stuff, right? And I'm like, man, I don't know if the deer went this way. I'm not seeing any blood. And I take like 4 more steps and I see white belly. Now, we're only, dude, I don't
60
know.
yards.
Maybe.
Probably 60 yards apart
50,
at that time.
60
I went the opposite direction towards the road.
Yeah.
Like,
but
I was in the opposite direction from him.
Shot to deer.
Oh, no. 60 yards.
If that.
I think it went 60 yards.
Maybe because he zigzagged.
Yeah, because he went around in the circle and kind of like made a circle.
And he tried to come out, but
he tried J hook.
Charles called it.
He was in his bed.
I heard him give our call, and I'm like, oh, I was like, let's go, dude. I was going nuts. It was fun because it was only 50, 60 yards from the road.
Yeah, it's right there. Like, the road's right there.
I was like, we could drag it out to the road and just pull the truck around.
That's the best, dude.
Oh, yeah. It was so sweet because like we didn't see any hope for this deer. Like if this and the thing was like we talked about, good thing we have the experience that we have to know you don't go after that deer. Because if we would have tried to chase that deer, even if we would have gave that deer 5-6 hours and tried to pursue it,
if you'd have bumped that deer,
game over. You would have never.
Other than
I'm not saying never
you
found
it with a dog.
I'm not saying never found it, but guess what? You would have not found it by yourself.
No. Because if it crossed the road, then you're talking many more issues.
There's like, a lot more.
There's a property issues. Yeah. You're talking all kinds of issues.
I had to secure before that. I secured that night. I'm like, hey, had to call the landowner from the other side. I'm like, hey, if this happens,
because they don't like people hunting.
They don't let anybody hunt
anyone.
It. Nobody. He owns like 240 acres there
of probably some of the most prime.
It's primo
hunting land,
which is awesome because I just hunt the outskirts.
Yeah. Because it's not big enough to hold deer.
It's
big, they're not gonna hold
but
it's not big enough to hold the deer on it.
It's gonna keep them there, but it's not gonna keep them there forever.
Not forever.
It's awesome, dude. Like, awesome. But then I texted him, I called him. I'm like, hey, this might have happened. If I have to go after this deer, and he was really cool about it. And that's the whole thing. Like, if you own that property and someone was in your, like, say we were out that night and someone's on your property with flashlights,
yeah,
I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
I'd be pretty pissed off about that if someone's on my property, and especially because this guy doesn't let anybody hunt. And I know him. We know him. Like we know the guy, so that's why I just gave him a call, like a courtesy of if this happens,
just in case.
At least he was cool about it.
Yeah, no, he was really cool about it. He just said, I just don't want people hunting on my property. I'm like, I get that. That's cool. That's fine.
I wasn't there.
Don't let anybody hunt on your property because I'm going to hunt all the outskirts of your property and kill those deer. So definitely don't let anyone hunt there.
But like he's saying though, if we would have bumped that, the good thing we did because that deer had been bedded there
100%. It bedded all night. That's where it stopped, and that's why I told you I heard it. I told you I heard it. It took a couple bounds, and it stopped right there.
Yep.
And I stayed there. This was early in the day. Like I said, this is only about an hour into my stand. It was like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
It was middle of the day
when I shot this deer. I stayed there. That's when it wasn't getting dark till almost 6.
Yeah,
I stayed there till dark. Saw turkey. Remember how much? I almost had a good shot on a turkey. They came in.
Self-control.
I could have shot 2 doe. They were 15 yards away from me. I'm like, I don't want to shoot them and run that way and spook that buck. Like, I could care less about these doe.
It worked out. I still don't know what happened to the other end of the arrow.
Especially since it's
I don't
only ran that far. That's what's so crazy about it.
It's got to be right there. So I almost wonder. I don't know. Maybe it broke and one end flung this way and the other end flung that way. Never found the broadhead side.
No, never found the
I
broadhead.
thought it was going to be in the deer, but
that's what I thought.
Deer.
I thought it'd be. Well, I didn't think it'd be in it, but I thought it'd be around it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we found the
Yeah.
14 inch, about 14 inches of 28 and a half.
Yeah.
Found it's hanging in between the deer, in between the antlers right now. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, you broke it, you bought it. Like, you get to keep it for life.
Cool deer to walk up on though. He
He
big
was
split brows, like devil horn split
like
brows.
those weird fork,
Yeah.
like
big
odd outside
wise,
fork.
I
brows,
found one
yeah.
like that one time.
He was a
Dude, he's
character
got
buck.
Straight curls in there.
I
It's
said
pretty wild.
I saw him the year before. I had him on camera, and I had him 3 times around like 60 yards.
He grew quite
And
a
the
bit.
last time I was gonna, he was same thing. He wasn't real wide. I mean, he only ended up having a 14
He was
inch.
much
He only
smaller
been having a
last year.
14 inch. Oh, he was a lot smaller last year. He only been having like a 14 inch, spread. But he was short. He was tight. But he had like more of like a fork brow, and he had like another cool little sticker coming off, and like
And
he was
heavy.
really cool.
He was heavy. Yeah.
So I was thinking about shooting the year before, like end of the year, end of archery. You know what I mean? Because I don't rifle hunt this property. Like I was just trying to end of the year. I was like, he'd be really cool. And he almost got close enough to shoot. And I'm glad he did because he was so
absolutely.
much bigger than next year.
Absolutely.
I had a friend in the area send me a picture of a buck, and I was like, it kind of looks like a deer I had. You know what I mean? Last year, then we had that doe. You know what I mean? Go into the area, and I'm going, maybe this is a good area to kind of funnel towards.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And
to think
it
if
worked out
he,
well. He came right in on that. He was like,
Yeah.
he was dead nuts on that grunt, straight in.
Oh, yeah. They know exactly where that sound comes from.
It was hilarious because, and the best part was, my wind could not have been perfect. I was completely opposite of the area that he was coming in. My wind was like he could not have smelled me if his life depended on it.
Yeah. But he got to that edge, and like
that's
you
why
said,
he was
didn't
looking.
come to
That's why he
it,
was looking.
But he
was
got to the edge to look.
He was looking as the wind was coming from the little thick area that was above, in front of me. So when he came in, he was nose towards that area right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like looking, he was scanning the area, and then he started turning around. When he went the way I wanted him to go, instead of the way I didn't want him to go, the way I didn't want him to go would have been bad wind for him.
Oh, yeah.
So the way I wanted him to go was actually perfect because he ended up turning around, trying to get wind off the area that I was. It was
Beautiful.
Yeah.
and it doesn't always work like that. Like I said,
doesn't.
I have a bunch of instances where it didn't work like that, where I just got unlucky. Like I just missed it by this.
It's crazy to think he was one broken point away from almost a 140.
It was a 140 inch deer, which is outrageous. Well, which I have a picture of him less than a week before I shot him. Less than a week before I shot him, I have a picture of him with that G3, which makes him a 140 plus inch deer, which is wild. Which is wild for what that deer was.
That would be weird.
What did I tell you?
You're not
Charles?
going to recreate that point.
No, what?
Yeah.
No chance.
Some people do it.
No
Some people do get it made.
chance. I've had 2 people talk to me about that. I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
can
they
do
I was
it.
so
remake 'em.
confused.
Yeah.
You would never know.
I
You
don't
would never know.
No, I don't want to do that.
No,
That's-
I
don't wanna do
agree. Like
He'd be
you know,
a lot cooler. Hey, he'd be a lot cooler if he had that.
We talk
free.
about that with Russ's buck last year.
drop time.
Yeah. Yep.
Teardrop.
Teardrop.
One of the freaking coolest, biggest,
I
gnarliest
swear I
bucks.
saw
Still
that
want to
deer.
put tape
I
to
swear
him.
I saw
Still
that
haven't
deer
put
2
tape
years
to him.
before he killed it.
Well, yeah,
I had it right next to me.
He had that drop
I
time.
had it right next to me.
He had that drop time for 2 years. We have pictures of him. Me and Joe have been following that deer for a while.
I had the biggest
He wasn't very big though.
I had the biggest 6 point I've ever seen in my entire life.
A lot of
10,
big 6 points
10,
back
20,
there.
10, 12, no, right in that area. 10,
Yeah.
12 feet away from me. 3 years before he killed that.
It wasn't him.
No?
That deer was not very big the year prior. He blew up.
Okay.
He blew up.
This was the
But there was
biggest.
a couple
this
other
was
big
the
sixes.
biggest. And it was barely a 6 because the brows were like literally fingertip brows. They were tiny.
No, that wasn't him.
This deer walked past me. It was right by the one stand that we had by that valley, right before that. And I was going to set up a stand. 10, 12 feet past me. This thing's an enormous 6 point. I'm going,
Not even legal.
well, can't kill that one.
No.
Like, it's archery season. I'm talking about right as archery season. This deer's walking past me, 10 feet past me, and it's enormous.
Yeah, there's a couple
with little tiny dinky brows.
Not him.
Not him.
That's what I thought was him. Okay,
Teardrop was a small.
Yeah, I
thought
that might have been him because
smaller 6-7 point lap.
Yeah.
He was legal the year prior, but he had that clear teardrop coming down. And wasn't as big as it was the year Russ shot him.
Yeah, that ain't the deer I saw.
He had one point about this big that may have made him legal, because I remember that year telling Joe, I was like, dude, with that teardrop thing over his eyes, I'm going to shoot that deer. But he was like, this point was maybe an inch on the one side that made him legal. And that was the only thing that maybe made him legal. But Russ talked about recreating that point. I got some good pictures of him, like one good picture on that year.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be a point I would probably think about, because that made that deer for me. Russ didn't. I mean, Russ had no history with that dear.
Mine got knocked off less than 7 days before I killed it.
But like
I have a picture of it. I have an actual picture of it less than 7 days before I killed it with the G3.
Yeah, it'd be easy.
And probably blown it off on that bigger buck that literally walked up on us while we were gutting that deer. That deer walked up on us, and I went, "Oh my, that's the bigger one."
Yeah,
I would never not shoot that deer.
No,
after you see the 2 and the 3 that are 10 and 9, dude.
Yeah, the brows alone make that deer.
I didn't see the brows. Didn't even look at the brows.
That doesn't make sense either.
Didn't even see the brows.
How do you miss those? Like, they are so
because it was thick in that area.
obvious.
All I saw was the front side where the broken off part. I'm like, it's kind of skanky. I don't really want to shoot that deer. I'm looking. It kind of came around. I went, oh my! And I saw the 2 and 3, and they were high. I went, yep, I'm definitely shooting. I didn't even look at it after that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I got to get, it's real tight in there. It's real close. Like, I got to get ready to shoot this deer. I can't be over here photographing it.
Well, I still don't know how you missed them brow tines. They're
they're
enormous.
Never saw the brow tines. The one was
brow tines.
The one was like, a 5-inch fork that I had it on.
Well, that's the point. Like, we talked about like measuring deer, estimating deer. You're talking about looking at a deer like that with a frame of a 125-inch deer.
That's what it
now,
was.
mind you, he's not a broken point, so he's probably framed 130-inch deer real with that point.
Didn't look like that to me. It looked a lot like I didn't realize, because I don't realize how to score deer like you do.
Man,
you've scored a lot more deer than I have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I'm like, 115, maybe 120. He's like, absolute chance. Charles like, absolute no chance. He's like, that deer's going 125 inches. I'm like,
yeah.
Really, you think?
Oh, yeah.
And then we got the extra 11 inches from the.
And then, you had 11 inches in extra points.
Like, you had the one fork. The one fork was so gnarly, it was 5 inches.
Yeah.
Off the brow. The other one was 3 inches.
I knew
That's
that was
8.
a big deer when I saw it.
Then we had the 3 stickers at like 2 were over an inch. One was just an inch. That's 11 inches.
Yeah.
On top of 120 some inch. So that makes more context as to why that deer scored the way it did. Because it didn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I asked him to score it again. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I looked at it, I was like, you're wrong. Score it again. Because I'm doing the quick math in my head.
I won't do.
Just like he's doing.
I'm right.
Well, he's doing the calculations, and I'm looking. I'm like,
I'll remeasure a couple points, but
I'm doing quick math in my head, and I'm going, that's 100.
All on.
That's over 137 inches. Like, there's no chance.
It's all on. It's all there.
And it ended up after we talked about it, he said about the extra 11 inches. I'm like, oh yeah, well that makes more sense because that's like 100 like maybe 125 plus the 11, so it makes it 136 and 5/8. Like it's
good deer.
That deer was thick,
real good deer, but he had good. You lost a little bit too because he was a mainframe 8 point, right?
Because it lost the 1 point,
so it lost like that last measurement. That measurement, the last circumference measurement.
Yeah.
You know, not that you lose it, you obviously have it, but it's a lot lower because taking that midpoint rather than having another point there with the 10 point. A lot of people don't realize like how much that 10 matters. Point scores just based on that extra circumference.
Because of the extra circumference,
and you have an extra point, 2 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people don't realize that. When people shoot big 8 points, 150, that's a 1, whatever. And I'm like, you know, I've been there before. Because I used to think, when Joe shot that big 8 point back up north.
Oh, yeah.
At that property. And I was like, dude, that deer on camera, that deer looked like a 150 on camera. Like, his G2s looked like big deer, too. 14 inches long. They weren't. And it was a huge deer.
Which one are you talking about?
The one
he shot from the ground.
The one he shot from the ground walking in with his climber on his back.
The typical
one
Joe
that I
story.
was after.
The typical Joe
Yeah.
story when, I walked in, I saw these 4 bucks, and then
You saw,
they
like,
ran
6
right
deer
at me, and the
running
biggest one stopped and turned broadside. It's like, yeah, it sounds like a Joe story.
Kind of what happened, yeah.
It's literally what happened.
He shot that one, and that deer was like 130s, and it
That was a good buck.
an
great
absolutely
buck.
That was a really good buck.
big of an 8 point.
It was, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing we go back to, though. The scoring doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
The fact that that was the dominant buck in that area, you killed the most dominant buck in that area.
Right.
I think stands out more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, like you can get into the numbers all you want.
Oh yeah.
This is Western Pennsylvania, and we're actually getting some really, really good bucks out here. So, like, it's 150s, 160s is not outrageous anymore.
No,
It's not outrageous anymore at all.
Well, look at the
especially,
one Ferrucci killed.
I'm just saying.
Where'd that deer go?
Oh God,
It was a big deer.
Shit, what was it? 157,
162,
Yeah,
I
it's a
thought
huge
it was.
162. I don't
That was
remember. I
162.
measured it, and I don't.
I thought it was
remember.
162.
Could have
but-
been.
Big deer.
I don't remember. Giant.
Well, that was the one.
Fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Talk about a deer that has mass through all the points.
Yeah.
Dude, literally.
That
But
deer
wasn't very
enormous.
long, but yeah.
Dude,
It
that
was
deer is
ridiculous.
stupid big.
Yeah.
Stupid
And the deer went straight out.
big. No, you're
Straight
talking about the
out.
one 2 years ago.
Which one are you talking about?
This
Oh,
year.
you're talking about the one with the big ass
the
G2, G3s.
the enormous
Yeah.
fucking
The
Megatron.
pig that he shot this year.
Yeah. He shot a giant last year too.
He
The one
did.
you're
He
talking
killed
about.
a
Wasn't
really
very
good one
tall,
last year.
but
No,
super
it was
wide. But this
wide.
year's that deer had it
Big deer.
all.
Dude, 14 feet. What was a G2?
That's a good point.
What was
to
a
measure.
G2? 14 inches?
I would I have the paper at home. I want to do a thing for him. I want to
It
print
has
out
to
an
be-
actual measurement,
Yeah.
like do it and frame it for him and get it to. I got to do that actually. That's a great reminder.
I did of mine. He did. I was like, I'm keeping this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I can't believe this
They
deer
make an
scored as well
actual-
as it did.
They make an actual form. I'll have
Yeah.
to do that.
Like I can't
Pope and
believe
Young
it.
paper.
I
yeah.
can't believe it scored as well as it did. But like,
Shit.
well, was
Make
that
a
net or
reminder
gross?
tomorrow.
I'm like, dude, I don't do deductions. Like, why would I?
Nets are for fishes.
Yeah, fuck net.
Who
Anybody
cares
that asks
about
what's
that?
the
though?
net score?
Gross.
Who cares? About
Listen,
that?
if you ask what the net score is, you might like men. That's true story.
inside of you,
Right. That's
True.
all I'm saying. Like
who
who honestly goes,
who
"Hey,
takes
what's the-
inches off of deer?
Yeah, what's the net score on that deer?
Like what?
Who asked that?
What do you
question?
mean? It's
People
I
that
yeah,
are
the
not my
deductions are
friends.
that's weird.
I like,
Someone
I like
asked me-
Guess
scores
what?
just to
For
get like a
scoring?
base frame of what the thing looks like.
For
You know what
scoring,
I mean?
cool.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get that certificate that
doing it.
says Pope and Young or Boone and Crock, like if you want to get that certificate, that's cool by me. But
Yeah.
like, wow, seriously, what's the net? I don't know. I only measure inches. I don't
I
measure
could do
what
the
it,
net score on yours because it would be basically what was yours?
2 inches off the
130?
one side.
Oh fuck yeah, no, I couldn't do 100. What was your total? 130.
136, 5/8.
36 plus. Like I think for the net, you have to take away all those extra points, right?
Yeah.
So 11 inches
Which
of
the one would be,
deductions.
yeah.
And you'd have a huge deduction because you're G3 on one side and no G3 on
Yeah,
the other
no,
side.
no, the other. The G3 on one side was nine
Yeah,
inches.
so
The other one
yours
was
would technically be
at all.
I think non-typical. I think,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, 'cause
which is weird.
The 2 on the one
This
side
is
was
weird.
10. The other was 9.
Yeah, so
the
you
one
have like
2
an
is
inch
9
deduction.
and 5/8 or whatever.
Outside of the extra
And then
points,
the
I think
3.
you only had a few inches of deductions,
'Cause
other
that-
than
well,
the
the
missing.
3 not being there,
Three, yeah, the missing,
which was
3.
only like 5 inches.
So
No, I would not recreate that point, which it would look a lot. You did,
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Be a lot cooler.
Imagine a lot
if you
cooler
did.
if it had
Be a
that
lot
3.
cooler
And
if
my
you
goodness,
did.
shit, I'd have a 140-inch deer somehow
yeah,
with a 5-inch G3 because I have the picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Less than a week from when I killed it because my cousin sent me.
So
Oh,
awesome.
this deer's been around the area. I'm like, yeah, I think I got him. I think I got him last year on camera a couple of times, and he was not even close to that big.
All right,
That's the people. That's the people that grow.
yeah, they do. They blow up. They blow up big time. And good thing about this year is between all of us, we didn't kill the biggest buck on our property. So if he makes it next year, could be interesting. Not only that one, but
Especially the biggest buck on the property I was hunting.
old pincushion that Joe hit twice. If he survives,
Unreal.
which
Jeez.
I don't know if it had 2 arrows in him. I don't know. I'm gonna go looking. I think in like February, March through
Oh, yeah,
that
I
area. Look for sheds. Look for him. See
Look
if I
for
can find
look
a
for a
dead head.
skeleton.
Yeah, because you just never know. And I know the area he went into is pretty fucking gnarly.
It's very gnarly.
Shit that I never walked through.
You would know that if he just would have died, it'd
be unfortunate for
it'd
sure.
be very
That was a big 8
unfortunate
point.
because he should have killed that deer the second time.
Yeah.
Should kill.
No, the second time was
the
a pot.
first
The second
time-
time was a literal
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
second
right
time
there,
was a
dude.
fucking chip
right
shot.
there. Yeah,
He
exactly.
should have killed him the second
He's-
time.
Joe,
First
Joe.
time I understand. He took a terrible shot.
That's Joe.
Bad angle. Bad. Trying to make
He's used
something
to-
happen.
Dude, Joe's used to
Joe's the
shooting deer in the
let me
leg
let an arrow go and make
and
something
them
happen.
dying. I tracked that deer, same area. Tracked that deer for 3 miles stand up blood. 3 miles stand up. We found that deer was going. Still, I covered parts of that area, Charles, that I haven't seen since I was 12.
Yeah. The good part about
12 years
This
old, I
deer-
haven't seen those areas.
We-
Dude. We walked up 3 mountains and covered every stretch of that area. We went over 3 miles on foot
Unreal.
and found that
you
deer
got to do a lot of zigzagging for 3 miles.
barely even breathing. Oh yeah, barely even breathing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Saw every area of that thing, and that deer ended up dying. So that was what 76 yards. 76 yards. He had.
Oh, that's
60
too
something.
far.
He said 76.
It's too
I don't
far.
think it was that far, but he
That's
thought it
what he
was
said.
like
No, he thought it was
I think
65.
he thought it was 50.
He thought it was 65 and shot it at 70 some
I-
plus, and it clipped it in the arm where you would cut the deer off, where you would cut the leg off to butcher it. That's where it hit it with one blade of a Spitfire.
yeah,
One blade.
I don't know.
One blade, and that deer died 3 miles later because it was out trolling pussy. That's the only reason.
Oh, Joe.
We followed it past 7 scrapes and 5. It went within like a foot of 5 of our stand.
So I will say the only good thing to come out of that deer the second time he hit him, because we tracked that deer a long ways both times. Actually, the first time and the second time, we learned a lot about the new way that property plays. The first time he hit him, he went through some bedding area where Joe shot his buck this year with a rifle. He went through that same bedding area. And then the second time, he went through some other shit that I didn't even know existed. That is
Really?
unreal.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Unreal that I will have cameras on.
Yes.
Somehow I went back in there and there's a stand back there and there's a camera.
From how long ago?
The camera turned on.
It was off. You told me it was off.
It was off. I went to check it, like thinking it was
Is it one of
old.
yours?
No,
it's not ours.
not ours.
Which is weird.
It is an old camera. And I'm like, dude, how old is this? And I'm looking and I'm like,
What kind of batteries are those?
well, that's the thing.
Good batteries.
The guy-
Hey, if it's not on, I guess great
the
batteries.
guy never turned the camera on.
That's crazy.
I went in to check to see like if it would turn on and off. It was off already when I got up to it. Like I'm thinking, man, this poor bastard never even turned the camera on. So I turned it on. It came on. I'm like, holy shit! Do I take the card? And I'm like, well, why would I take the card to check it?
It's been off the
It's
whole
been
time.
off. Like it's not gonna have any pictures on it. So I just turned it back off and left it. But like it didn't look like it was that old. That's the weird. But the placement made no fucking sense, dude. The camera was on a trail as wide, not even as wide as your shoulder. Now, obviously, his deer went through there.
Yeah.
So, like, it was in a good spot. But then the stand was up in this spot. And I'm like, it's so fucking thick. You can't shoot 10 yards. I'm like, this spot doesn't make any sense unless it was from a long time
This
ago.
was from 4 years ago.
But this old-ass camera's in there. And it didn't have a strap. So it was hard to tell that it was on it had like a string, basically, tying it onto the tree. Why can't I think of the name of it? Fucking 550 paracord.
Oh,
It had
okay.
paracord. It was tied with paracord, and I'm like, dude, this paracord don't look like. I tie my shit up on my house every year. The big fucking sun blinds, and at the end of the year, those shits look old. Okay, I take them down every year, and they are hard to take down. This one was not. It didn't look aged. It didn't feel aged. So who
guys
the
down
fuck
there in
is
that
in there
bottom for no reason.
in that crazy
It's
thick
it's
bottom?
not it's not an accessible point either.
No,
It's not like it's a very accessible
That's what I
point.
don't
I know
understand,
exactly what
like-
you're talking about.
where's this guy coming from?
Oh.
How's he hunting? Well, then we kept going through, and we went past another stand, and that one may have been
That
the
might have
ladder
been
stand
Dad's.
from Dad.
That might have been Dad's.
because we used to
dude.
hunt that part.
Yeah, we did. I know I never did, but I know you guys
I know
used to
I
hunt
did.
that. And I know where Dad had that stand. It was right in that area.
Yeah, it was because my first
I'm-
deer
I'm
I ever
positive on
saw
that.
hunting was from that stand.
Interesting.
Now he moved it, I think, because it wasn't in the same spot. He used to have it on
Can't
the
remember,
other
he's
side
old.
of the fence And it was in this little swampy area. And the first deer I ever had an encounter with in my entire archery hunting life was from that spot. And we used to have a stand there. You'd have to like walk through and then go through the fence and come back into the property, and you'd sneak in and you'd get up in this tree. Well, the ladder was in that same area, but it wasn't in the same spot. So I wonder if he moved it at some point way back when and then just left it.
It seemed like that from what you were explaining.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense with the area that it was in, and then it's been there for a while.
Dude, that was a nostalgia trip there, that tracking job. Like, I went past all the old spots we used to hunt on the property. I felt
we don't hunt
anymore. I'm like,
that's why I felt like we tracked this other deer. I'm like, dude, we haven't hunted these areas since I was 12 years old. I was in my 30s.
I'm like, we need to hunt these areas
here forever.
Honestly, I'm like, man, I need to get like the trails in there.
That's what you told me. You're like, dude, there's
people ain't hunting anymore. Unless that one crazy guy in the fiction hunting out.
Maybe.
Then again, it's not easy to access either. Like, it's not the prime part of the property. It's not the easy part of the property. But if you know, well,
there's a reason that big buck went the way he went. Yes. And he was wounded a second time, mind you.
Yeah. And there's reasons that there's deer through that area that are doing that type of stuff.
They're not getting fucked with back there. Yeah. It's a big area to not get messed with.
Exactly. And it's not really out in the open. It's tough to get to.
There's a couple corridors I'll have some cameras on here after Christmas.
Beautiful.
I'll get new cameras up. I got some Santa Claus is bringing me a couple.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
A couple stealth cam
with
specials.
Some stealth cam.
Mm-hmm. Dude, they went on sale again for like dirt cheap. I had to pick them up.
I like it.
P.S. If you don't think that bastard's going to pay full retail price for that trail camera when I finally get a hold of him, not the discount price I bought it at $75. He's paying $160.
$160.
Gary's in trouble.
You scumbag.
Gary.
We don't know if you littered, but you're still a scumbag.
All right, let's put a bow on this thing. It's late.
Rapper.
Get to bed. It's a school night. Salut. Is that a salute?
All right, boys.
Salute.
Appreciate it.
John, thanks for joining us. And not being at the bar this time.
I don't think the bars are up there.
Hey.
They are if you stay there.
That's true. Until next week.
The distraction is real.